All right, getting back into podcasting. One Piece. Okay, I got it. I think I remember what this is about now. Yeah. Naruto. Okay, 3, 2. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 869 for the week of Monday, May 26th, 2025. My name is Zach. You might have heard Jill on the podcast. Hi, Jill. It's a 69 episode. We have to, it's contractually something I guess we have to have you on for, to say nice after.
Zach, please don't embarrass me in front of very special guest Stephen Paul.
Oh, you did the thing for me. Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
She's just throwing this all out of order. Hey everybody. Yeah, good to be on. Sorry about last week. We didn't have an extra podcast for you. It was the weird situation where you normally me and Greg do our little thing on off weeks, and this happened to be the one week where Greg was like, "Oh, I have to work on Saturday." Like it was like the sports day at the school or something like that. So he could not get up early to podcast with me. And he's like, "But I have Monday off. It's a holiday, so that would be Sunday our time." So basically, it would be the same time that we are recording this right now. And I was like, "Oh, that's great. Wait, no, I'm doing something with family." So it was like a double exception on both sides that neither of us could coordinate for our recording. So,
and I had like a birthday, and I was working, so it's fun times. We have two special guests with us today as well. Besides very special guest translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump Manga Plus, Stephen Paul. I have to say it, again, contractual. We also have a friend of the show, Ken O'Connor. How's it going, Ken?
Hello. Thanks for having me back, guys. How's everyone doing?
We're going,
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the best chapters ever.
Oh, look, a chapter doesn't completely dictate my mood. I'm not just about One Piece. But we also have on today's show, that could be refuted, I know. We also have, it's been 3 years, 2.5 years since we've had this guest on. We have David Bednar. How's it going, David?
In true One Piece fashion, I'm rewarding the long-time listener. Hey, it's great to be back.
How was your time skip?
Nice.
My time skip is great. My tits are enormous. I
wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to say anything.
An entirely new power. It's great. It's great. It's good to be back. I've really been enjoying the manga lately. Maybe we can get into my since Hinterland shonen manga experience, but no, it's really good to be back, and can't wait to dig into this heck of a chapter.
Actually, I was going to ask you, David, because I know we've been around long enough that we've had several times where people have been on the podcast and they're kind of in the orbit, and then they just kind of drift away for a few years, and then they come back, and sometimes they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't, I didn't read One Piece at all. I didn't do it." Like, were you following it week by week? Were you staying current, or did you kind of come and go?
No, One Piece is a thing, at least for me, where it's like, you got to check up on it regularly, even if you do kind of fall out with it. It's, I don't know, it's like your garden or the stock market or something like that, where you're just like, I wonder how that's doing. I wonder what's going on over there. The thing that happened is I loved Wano, actually. Wano was really where I got in and really was invested in the manga. Before then, I had really just been mostly a anime.
Yeah, you did the dub, right? You just followed the dub.
I was a dub watcher, yeah. Famously, it just happened inside of my family. inside of my family, during the pandemic, my wife decided that she would just get drunk and regularly watch the rest of the One Piece with us, and we watched,
Excellent.
700 episodes in a row. Her not being an anime fan at all, I'm a big dub anime fan. And then this Wano was where I finally like jumped into the manga. I went back and read up through, and I loved Wano, I think, because it was such a deviation from the standard One Piece adventure that it was a good jumping on point. I think that if you were an existing One Piece fan, it might have been a little frustrating because suddenly we're doing a bunch of samurai stuff with samurai characters. But for me, it was like, oh, I don't really need to know, everything that has been happening. I don't need to be logged in and cross-referencing like who got married to what, where on what cake. Whereas I could just be like, oh, there's this Yamato and I can invest on it. Ken, you know about investing in a Yamato.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And David, but what about It's Nuts Island? Like, or you're just discounting that?
No, like, buddy, I made the shirt.
I know. That's why I'm saying.
So no, I'm not saying that there wasn't there wasn't candy, there wasn't nuts, there wasn't gems before, but it was just a good jumping on point. And then we go to Egghead, and the trick with Egghead is that it's the exact opposite. Now we are going into deep lore. We are pulling in really backbench characters, and I also think that I think going to Elbaf has revealed something to me about Oda, which is he just cannot tell a story inside of a limited space. I think it is anathema to him. And and when he tries to compress actions inside of a constrained environment, you get kind of a kaleidoscopic effect. It's like looking at a comic book through the eyes of a dragonfly, where there's just too much information happening all at once on top of a page. And so on Egghead, I was having a hard time parsing what was going on because the environment was the environmental details between the split up parties was essentially the same because they are technically inside of the same complex, but then they're overlapping and intersecting, and it just became very difficult for me to parse. Now that we're on Elbaf, and you can at least say, oh, Luffy and Loki are down at the roots, and the children are walking off the edge of the branch, and there's stuff happening at that library which exists somewhere. Like now I can pin these actions. I can look at the conveniently provided map, and I can start understanding the physical relationships a lot better.
We don't talk about that map.
Plus this I know that I just said that Wano was a great jumping on point because you didn't have to know the deep lore, but also like it's One Piece. The juice comes from the big payoffs, and so Elbaf has had huge ass payoffs for longtime readers, and that's been a real treat to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, not to. Well, no, I do agree with you generally that it is anathema to Oda to write a contained story, but particularly at this point in the story, I just don't think he has that intention anymore. I think Wano kind of was the last, gasp of that. Maybe, but it really wasn't because, Dressrosa and Punk Hazard before that, and Zoe, and everything.
We're never going to get another
no.
island adventure. Like this is all just this.
We're not getting a Gaimon chapter again. It's just not happening. Although Gaimon might be in a chapter, but we're not going to get a chapter like it's just like random island where this has nothing to do with anything. But Oda was never really doing that. It just felt like that, I think, to us as readers because we didn't have the perspective we do 27 years later. Yeah.
Well, as the world got bigger, like in the beginning, like when you go to like, oh, here's Syrup Village, like you don't know the rest of the world yet. But as like Luffy and the gang, they keep going out to island, we care more and more about kind of like not the destruction, but like the effect they have in their wake. And so he has to keep going back and show us that even in Wano, between the act breaks, like, oh, here's part of the world and here's what's going on, where Wano itself was still contained. But that's either here or there. It's just interesting observation.
I think right now is such a great example of that because, like, think about Little Garden. Like, Little Garden's so self-contained. I mean, there's a few things like Mr. 3, obviously, and Nami getting bitten, and the Giants, but like, we're in Elbaf now. Like, the steps that we have taken from Little Garden to where we're at is crazy, but it all started there.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, everything at this point, even if it wasn't originally intended to be interconnected, I think we have entered the zone of everything in One Piece is interconnected. I think that's
Which means the Davy back fights.
Yes.
Will be important lore.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that that's how Luffy beats Blackbeard.
100%. Thriller Bark is becoming more and more important, I feel like, these days, too. An arc that I think was, at the time, very discounted for being kind of what we're talking about, feeling like a tangent. Anyway. We were off last week. I apologize. Steven also apologized on our behalf for some reason. But yeah, I think we very rarely take a week off, and it was kind of a last minute thing, but we needed a week off last week for many a reason. But we are back. We're going to be talking about chapter 1149 this week. But before we do, we have like 2 weeks worth of news, so we'll go through it kind of quick. The first piece of news I broke to Steven earlier, and that's that the next One Piece magazine was announced. Steven, I'll let you describe.
Yeah, this is apparently it's going to be a special issue. It is called a Bessatsu, if you've ever heard that term before, which means like separate issue, which to me suggests that it will not be issue 20 of the magazine. It's just going to be a special one, and it is titled One Piece Fan Letter. And if you couldn't guess, that means it will be all about the One Piece fan letter OVA. Is that, can we call it that? The special that we all loved so much. And so apparently they're going to have, at the very least, it's going to have a special cover drawn by the chief animator or character designer for fan letter. I don't know. I presume, since this is a special issue or not a regular issue, that it probably won't have all of the sort of like the normal extras and columns and things. It's probably going to be just about fan letter. But I'm very excited to see what this turns out to be. It's coming out the first week of June, so I guess it's coming up right on us.
Wow, jeez. Well, I guess we'll have something to do in an off week when that comes out.
Yeah, I got to go to Amazon and
I got to order that. Yeah, I'm always excited for One Piece magazine. I kind of hope it isn't just that, because usually there's always, fun little things in the magazine that we find. However, I did really enjoy that special, and I do not mind reading more about it. We also, what else was announced? Should we talk about that Choppers thing that we were trying
There's
to
all this
out?
Choppers stuff, yeah, which we were we were discussing this at length before recording, and I don't think we reached a satisfactory conclusion as to what this actually is. But yeah, they opened up some new Instagram and Twitter accounts for a Choppers OP, which seems like it's just, so far, it's just a bunch of real world photographs that they drew a very cute little kind of pastel chopper in. And I don't know where it's going, if they're going to be selling us something or what, but there's also some little like no text, like 4-panel little drawing.
They're very
things,
funny.
Which are, yeah, they're cute. I don't even know if I would say they're funny. It's just like,
no, I think they're kind of funny. To chill,
like what is this one with the chopper like walking in front of the double doors and then
because a guy is coming out of the I'm going to describe this 4-panel comic on the air now.
Okay.
A guy is walking out of a store, the automatic doors open, and then they close right in front of Chopper because he's too tiny and it doesn't notice him. And so he's just looking longingly into the void. Like, how
I think what makes him funny is that he has the same expression in every scene.
Yes.
Like, that's what makes it funny. Like, if he was happy and then sad he got lacked out, that'd be sad. But this is just funny.
It is. I agree. There's an ennui to it that I think makes it very funny. The other ones I think are, they're if not funny, at least like weird Adult Swimmy almost sort of humor with Chopper. Yeah. I don't. Anyway, anything to say about that, Jill? Any other comments about choppers? Because I know you were.
Oh, I enjoy the one with the law buns. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to imply about Chopper, but that's good.
Yeah, I don't either. There's also, it was announced that the bullet trains, the Shinkansen in Japan, I think they have been or are about to be decorated. I think as of this recording, I think this week, I think is when it starts, to be decorated in One Piece regalia. By that,
Notice he said the Shinkansen in Japan, not the ones in the United States.
Oh, I wish. I wish. That's what we call wishful thinking. Power of positive.
Oh yes, the Los Angeles high-speed bullet train that was totally famous.
Mm. Yeah. And the New York to DC one that it totally exists. I hope someone's listening to this in the future and being like, yeah, they do exist. But yeah, that's I know there's a Chopper one, a Zoro, and a Sanji one, I think. They might collide in some lovely form. Hopefully not. Anyway, it looks like the insides of the train are decorated too. It looks cool, and I think that's a pretty crazy promotion, which is why I wanted to mention it. Yeah. Any other? There were little bits of news, like I think One Piece won the anime awards in Germany. But yeah, go ahead.
There's the Netflix Tadum event.
Right.
Is May 31st. Both the official Netflix account and the live action One Piece account are like, hey, tune in. You're going to see something. And there's rumors that we're going to see the live action Chopper first at the Tadum event on May 31st.
Rumor mill on the One Piece live action side is correct more often than not, I feel like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it really a rumor mill when they're like promoting little like shorts and reels and things of like the actors hanging out
with Chopper stuff? Yeah.
Right.
The 31st.
I wonder.
Yeah, go ahead.
If that has anything to do with the Choppers thing. Like at one point, the other one will just start showing up in the pictures.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
I could.
He starts changing like piece by piece.
On the other side of the two-plane door, on the other side of the doors is Netflix Chopper. He's in.
Well, I mean, like, if I'm Netflix, I'm looking at One Piece, my big breakout live action hit for nerds, and I'm thinking, I've got the opportunity to Baby Yoda this, and so I bet they are seeding the ground.
Yeah, this is what 4Kids tried to do and failed. Well, first of all, the fact that they did it on our 16th anniversary is really just rude. You shouldn't, people need to be celebrating the One Piece podcast. Yeah, May 31st is our day. Or maybe that's why they did it on May 31st, actually, now that I think about it. It must be because of us.
They're going to shout us out, clearly.
Yeah, I'm expecting as much, Iñaki. Balls in your court. I don't know what I'm saying there, but anyway, yeah, check that out. I'm excited. Usually when Netflix is making a big deal out of these things, it is warranted. Also, like I would definitely check that out. I don't know when on the 31st it is, but I'm sure check your local listings.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay. And in Japan, that's sometime next week. But yeah, check that out. I think that's everything, though. Am I missing anything from the last 2 weeks? Probably.
I mean, on the show, I do believe Sam and Ken are going to have a double anime recap, right?
True.
Oh, yes. We are doing 11:29 and 11:30, the Kuma flashback episodes.
Yeah, I haven't seen this week's one, but I saw last week's, which was like the first episode of the flashback, right? And I was like,
yeah,
I'm not going to survive this. This is not.
No,
episode 2 is it rips your heart out at the end, especially. Like, it's a lot. It's very sad.
Basically, this is a week for dads. So
Great,
David,
good.
That's why we have David here too. I need some support. I need to lean on his shoulder. But yeah, speaking of, let's start with the manga recap. I'm sure that doesn't have any dad-related material. And then, even though I know we did the DILF episode a few weeks ago, this is a different kind of, I don't know what acronym to use here, but we'll get into that. Just cut all of this, Delaney. She's not
Delaney, you have to keep this in.
And then we have a double anime recap, as we mentioned. Yeah, sorry, Ken. What were you going to say?
Nope. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Wait, let's just begin.
Actually, before we go, on adjacent, deeply adjacent, profoundly adjacent, sort of just like in the same zip code of One Piece interest.
Okay.
Looking forward to live action One Piece. David Malshian. If you have an Apple TV account, go watch Murderbot. It's a fun time, and future Mr. 3, David Malshian, best known to me as playing Gonzo in a live stage reading of the Muppet movie that was also very good. Is a main character on that, and very, very good. So I'm excited to see how he takes his deep, uncomfortable weirdness and transforms that for One Piece.
Deep, uncomfortable weirdness is kind of one of One Piece's
again, when he was playing there is a charity stage reading of the Muppet movie that is fantastic. Go look it up on YouTube, hunt it down, pay money, whatever it was for, I think, fire relief. But he plays Gonzo in that and does a spot on Gonzo voice. Like, he is going full in, making me cry when he's singing "There's not a word yet for old friends who've just met," and I'm like, oh. And now on Murderbot, he plays just like a real antisocial, awkward dude. And so I think like somewhere between like a full ass Muppet and somebody with social problems.
That's One Piece.
Mr. 3 can, that's One Piece, exactly. So
social problems plus Muppet is One Piece. Yeah,
I'm real excited.
Yeah, I'm going to tell Steve to draw that. Let's get into the manga. This is the manga recap for chapter 1149. 1 second. That's the name of the chapter, too.
Wow, you got me there. Wow.
Sometimes I do good jokes. You can read this chapter and all chapters on shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. I hope my wife didn't actually hear that and think I was talking. Anyway, David, can we start with the cover of Shonen Jump first before we get even into the cafe?
Oh, yeah. The cover of Shonen Jump. We've got Luffy, Sanji, and Chopper in the tiniest little Toriyama-ass red little motormobile car. Beep, beep. Driving down the road looking for adventure. Sanji has I was going to say Sanji has somehow transformed into a raccoon, but that is just Chopper's little hooves on his head, conveniently placed at 10 and 2 to give a sort of an ear-like impression. But he's into it, man. Like, he is driving like Hunter S. Thompson down this road.
Sanji does have some Hunter S. Thompson vibes.
There's the car bears both the Mugiwara insignia, the let's see, there's a thing that says no rules. There's a band-aid. It says race or die, race or die, race or die. That's for my NES hardcore. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And it of course has the number 56 on top. What do we think of this great Shonen Jump cover?
Wow, you're a little bit biased. No, but seriously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Toriyama-esque is 100% on point. It is a worthy homage to the master of the chibi vehicles here.
And the chibified Sanji, even, because he has like a way too big head for his body, I feel like.
Yeah, where's their body? Like, that's, proportions.
But this is probably one of my favorite Shonen Jump covers for One Piece in a long time. I don't have a list of those in front of me, so I don't know if that's true, but it's a good one.
Well, I think the thing is that Shonen Jump covers, particularly lately, don't take an opinion on the content. It's more like just let's get as many let's get the characters that people care about, and then just, I mean, Jesus, there's so much text you got to cram on there. It's not like you can really fit content there anyway. So I think having really treating these guys as a core unit, this is sort of like, visually it's one thing, and then you can orbit the concatenation of text about them. But it's a really good way to sort of short circuit the requirements of the Shonen Jump cover format into a way to squeeze in delight.
I'll say for this one, the Viz cover, which is usually available for the week on shonenjump.viz.com.
As a header,
Yeah, as a header, and it's free. Anyone could go there and check that out. Definitely worth it to see the uncluttered version of this one in particular. Sometimes it feels empty, but...
I'm looking at the Japanese cover, and there's a bit of text. There's a little block of text right above Luffy's finger where he's pointing, and it says, "This weekend there could be a massive announcement for the Netflix live action drama." Interrobang, question mark. So, I mean, it's questioning. It's not confirming. So it's possible that there is not actually, a special announcement regarding the
it's just
the
a red
Netflix
herring.
series. Yeah.
Yeah, it must just be a red herring.
Oh my God, they're driving to the To Doom event.
To Doom.
Maybe that
it's
is
a
what
To
that's
Doom
supposed
buggy.
to...
Oh my God.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
like
gonna write
it,
that down.
but it
That's a
is
dumb
good. I'll write it down. I don't like that it's also advertising, but pay us, Netflix. Tatum Buggy.
Listen,
I guess with
Get your
an E
kicks
at
on
the end?
Route 56.
I like it.
I didn't. Whatever. Anyway, what's going on the color spread? I don't know if you want to also talk about the sketches for that, David. But we
No,
could do
I
one at a
don't,
time.
because I did not look at them before we recorded.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I know that
giant...
there was some good stuff in there. So if somebody who can get
Yeah, I'm
real
upset
hot and
about
angry
it.
about that can come in afterwards. But I'm just looking at the pretty maids. Much like Sanji, I'm just looking at the Bodakuri Maid Cafe. Apparently, even though there are children's lives at danger, the cast of One Piece has decided to take a break and celebrate maid cafes. We've got Robin, Nami, the what's the robot name? Lilith. Yeah, sure. With
That's a
the
sheep.
orange hair, I've just realized that there's just a second Nami at this point, which, honestly, Oda, let's go. Yeah, there's a sheep. There's
Sheep bouncer. Is
Oh
there
my
a
God.
joke there? Is there a pun?
my brain is messing
A
up. I'm looking
bouncer.
at pirate can become a little girl, changes people's ages.
Bonnie.
Okay, because my brain was saying Bentley, and I was like, that is fundamentally wrong.
David,
Oh, my
we got to
favorite
brush
One
up
Piece
on that
character,
rust
Bentley.
here.
Yeah, he's got cars on the mind.
I've got cars on the mind.
Dune buggy.
Yeah.
Bonnie, who's holding a little purse that says R.I.P. on it, which is a little concerning.
No, someone
Okay.
mentioned that
I will,
says...
I'll go
Steven.
through this for you guys.
All right,
Okay, yeah, David, you finish describing as you see.
All
it.
right. So, Zoro Chopper, main character of One Piece, Luffy. There we go. That's the name. Breaking the
Okay,
rust
David,
off.
I'm sorry. That it was nice having you back.
And of course,
Gotta end it there.
MC Striped Cat, beloved One Piece character, chilling at a table, eating their omurice. Luffy eating my gold mine because, of course, the greatest treasure is food. And then in the background,
No.
Usopp and beloved One Piece character MC Striped Cat balking at the tremendous bill.
Because they have to pay for it.
Yeah. While in the
Yeah.
background, Sanji just loses his shit at all the pretty girls.
Yeah, this was really all just for Sanji. I think we could all agree on that, given the cast here. Steven, do you want to go through all the jokes?
Yeah, in fact, I had a little not really even margin notes, but you know how sometimes with Viz when there's a a bit of signage and they don't want to replace anything, they'll just do the little like asterisk and then like the word or whatever it is. And they didn't include that here. I'm not sure if that's just because it was a color spread and they didn't want to like add any extra graphic stuff to like the little, the nice little colored background that it has or what. But yeah, basically, so Botakuri Maid Cafe, maybe you will understand the context of this if I mention the Japanese name of Shaki's Botakuri Bar from Shibandi, where this is the ripoff maid cafe, and so Nami using the ketchup on the omurice there, she is writing kanezuru, which is a phrase. Actually, Oda already provided a translation of sorts for Luffy, which is my gold mine, and kanezuru means like golden vine, and it's basically like the idea is it's a money tree. It's like the golden vine that you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling it out of the ground, and it just keeps bringing you more money. So yeah, gold mine is a good translation for that. And then that would mean that Bonnie's little tray that she's holding is the ripoff tray. But yeah,
which she will use to murder someone with, right?
They didn't put my notes there, so and it's just kind of up to people to figure out on their own, I guess.
Context clues, everyone.
Yes, yeah. I mean the clues are there.
I thought Bonnie had a whoopee cushion that said "rip ass," so I was really searching for like where else she had put it.
I mean,
like I thought Sanji was like about to sit on it, so I really misinterpreted the point of this.
You know
for
what?
A few minutes.
That would really make this an S tier spread. I think.
Yeah,
if that were true.
That is the only facial expression you can have when you are planting a whoopee cushion.
True. Yeah. That's the only expression I've had when doing that.
Is there something to the traditional Kewpie mayonnaise face to what Nami's making as she's applying, or is that just general effort?
Yeah,
I think that's just her concentration.
Because I can believe that like that's the condiment face in Japan. That when everyone
tongue out.
Yeah.
I assume
wasn't the candy too milky? Doesn't it have that like? Is that what it's called? That has the same thing. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
I've never been to a maid cafe, or a Hooters, which is the American maid cafe. But I assume like the girls probably like write like "ooh, love" or whatever on the food as they hand the customers. So she's calling like Luffy her gold mine, which doesn't seem accurate. I think he probably cost them more than they take in, to be honest.
Well, I think it was for the table. I don't think it was just for Luffy. But you're right. I don't think they knew that was about to happen. Maybe.
Can we talk about how this is set in Winnie the Pooh's house? Not only in that it's the inside of a tree, but that it's got little honey pots right behind Usopp.
Very
there.
Suspicious, yeah.
Oh,
why is that suspicious?
I feel like he's renting out the space. He's getting some secondary income here.
I think the only inference can be that Nami has beaten up Winnie the Pooh, tied him up, and left him gagged in a closet somewhere while she operates an illicit maid cafe in his house.
I think that's
true.
Yeah. Let's get Steve to draw that too.
I just like Robin in the corner, like not participating, just watching. Like, yes, good. Like she's like the one in charge, just overseeing. Like, yes, make that money.
No, this is totally Nami's racket. I mean,
pretty much every character in this is wearing more clothes than they normally do. So really, this is like an anti-sexy maid cafe.
It is. I was impressed almost. Like this is
like turtlenecks with their maid dresses.
It's a great look, actually.
No, it's fantastic.
The shading, by the way, on the white of the maid aprons is beautiful. The dark blue, purpley, deep shadows, and then the sort of pinker tones. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love the coloring of this one. The like super bold, like orange next to the blue, next to the pink. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's also nice just having Lilith and Bonnie be part of the color spread. Like
Kid
people-
Bonnie particularly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw
happy
someone
for
mention
her.
like they're the new Momonosuke and Kinemon. Like they were kind of along for a while. Now we have a new like kid and adult just with the crew and having them in the
Yeah.
color spread is really nice.
Yeah, it is. Now that we've said all the nice things, can we complain about what could have been? I don't know, Steven, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty brief, right? So that they put out the process video of Oda, trying out different things, and it did look for the first like 5 or 10 seconds of the video that he was going to do like a giant themed one, like it was Dorian Broggie, like as the front.
Well, it was
centerpiece,
the
and
exact. It looked exactly like the one from during Little Garden that he did with the two giants. Remember? Anyone else remember that?
Oh, was it
that just
a
yeah.
remake?
I'm looking at it
Yeah,
right now.
I think
yeah.
originally that's what he was
okay.
thinking, because it's the exact same pose and they were all on him, except it would have also had. Sorry, Steven, you could finish up. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I have the feeling that if there's like a general reason why he might have decided against that or had second thoughts, like he might have decided like, I don't really want to do, not really like a current events sort of thing, but I feel like he doesn't often do like these color spreads where it's about like the characters that the arc is about. Like it's usually just the Straw Hats goofing off, and maybe there's a theme, like maybe there's a popularity poll related theme or something along those lines, but I feel like he doesn't usually do like sort of plot relevant color spreads. So maybe that was part of his reason for
Maybe he just didn't want to draw 3 giants and everyone tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been just that. Yeah, we don't know what was
or
actually
yeah,
going on.
he had like Sanji dehydration. He had to draw some women in there or something, and then turned into the maid
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah,
It was a Maid Day on May 10th in Japan, so maybe he was inspired by that.
it might have
Yeah.
been when he did it too.
Yeah.
Right.
The timing
Absolutely.
kind of fits. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
The other thing is just we really haven't gotten a lot of FaceTime with our main characters lately. It's been a lot of giant drama. And so maybe he's just like, it's been a minute since I've drawn Nami full size on a page. Why don't
That
I,
is not true. There's so much not true about what you just said.
We haven't seen Luffy in a while. Luffy's been
Not
down.
just full
Luffy
size,
in a
giant
while.
size. Okay, yeah, to be fair, Luffy's been down in the underworld for a little bit, but it feels longer to us probably than it actually was manga time. Like the amount of chapters. Anyway, I didn't mean to call you out like that, David, but you're not.
No, you're
right
all right.
about that. We've seen lots of Straw Hats recently, which
Listen,
is good.
Between this and Oter, all I'm thinking about is giant women. So my mind has completely cleared itself of
Okay,
regular
you and
size
Ken
women.
could go talk
Thank
about
you,
all
David.
this stuff later.
No, David is the only one who like understands my love of like. No, he gets it.
Listen, it's me, you, and
Fill in the
Steven
blank.
universe.
Yes.
All right. Shall we move on?
we
Let's
we
get
shall.
All right. So turning the page. All right. We are reading One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Translation by Stephen Paul. Lettering by Vanessa Satone. Hey, you should really call out the lettering more often. It's really important. This
Yeah,
chapter is
guys.
called chapter 1149. 1 second. And everyone's going, oh. Well, Nami says, oh, and then everyone else will go, what?
What?
Because our friend Scopper has just arrived on scene, slicing with his axe. Everyone yells, "Who is that?" Here's where again I could barely remember the name of Luffy, so I'm gonna need a little assistance here. What's the name of this old immortal dude?
Sommers.
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 Why are you guys
Not
helping
Summers.
him?
Sommers. Like
Yes.
like the guy who was on Mad Men, Rich Summers. All right. So Sommers goes thud on the ground, and everyone says, "Who is that?" Because Scopper is wielding his cool ass Getter Robo axe. Sommers yells, "Go!" Usopp is surprised. It worked on him? How? What did he do? To which Scopper replies, and I feel so much right now. I'm rusty.
Rusty Venture.
Wait, I thought
yes.
his name was Scopper Gabon.
Listen, it's not helping me. I keep looking at him like, yeah, sure you are. You're rusty. I get it.
Yeah. Hi, Rusty. I'm Dad. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And on the next spread, of course, he does a cool spinny thing with his axe, because he can't just, turn around and like transfer the axe to the other hand or whatever. He's got to twirl it and then kind of pivot here and snaps the axe to attention at his shoulder as he turns around. And Summers is already back up on his feet, and he uses a move called Thorncellation, which was also kind of
You're back,
fun...
Steven.
I'm back. Yep. Back in the saddle. Yeah, this was a fun one in Japanese because thorn is ibara in Japanese. And so in Oda's version, it was ibaria or ibarrier.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, I had to come up with some kind of a defensive sounding portmanteau there for us, as Gabon swings with the axe, but some like little sort of crosswise pillars of thorns jut up out of the ground and intercept his blow. You can see the the hockey lightning shooting off where the collision happens, and Summers is kind of he's kind of huffing and puffing as he backs away from the thorns, and then he's looking, he's got the little shading over his eyes with exertion as he says, "Mountain Eater, what are you doing in Elbaf?" And Gabon says, "Let's not get bogged down with boring questions." And then they resume their combat, and you get a bunch of cool swings and clashes as they go bam, 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 and are shouting and having their cool fight. And meanwhile, Usopp they've been catching up on who this guy is. He says, "What? You met him at the castle?" And Nami is pointing out, yeah, he was totally pushing Luffy and Zoro around. He's the father of the boy at school named Colin. And Usopp was like, that old man is? So they're all getting caught up on the family situation there. And Robin says, "If I didn't mishear, he might be Scopper Gabon." And Jinbei adds, "He's the left arm of the king of the pirates, the counterpart to Rayleigh. What's he doing in the land of giants?" So everyone is wondering the same thing. And meanwhile, Chopper, who is still kind of in hiding here, is thinking to himself, his attacks are doing damage, but how? And Robin, of course, is still tied up with the thorns, but she says, "I can't move, but I can still help from a distance," as she starts to summon her extra hands, blooming them out of her shoulder there. But Jinbei points out, "Don't do it, Robin. He uses thorns of iron. Your hand-to-hand blows aren't suited for fighting him." Which is funny because, that's what you would have thought when, like, Luffy was fighting Don Krieg 100+ volumes ago. But
well, if they had Jinbei back then, I think.
Yeah, he would have said the same thing to Luffy.
He would have said the same thing, and Luffy definitely would not have listened. But he would have said it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, David. Yep.
Back to me, because there's going to be a lot of being loud on these pages as Summers yells, prepares his terrible thorns and yells, "Thorn Hunt!" And which crazy, insane. Can we stop for a moment and just say that he does two named attacks and then puts an "and" in the middle, which not just yell Thorn Hunt, Crimson Lotus Hell, but Thorn Hunt and Crimson Lotus Hell.
That is rare, I gotta say. I don't remember an "and" ever in a named attack like that.
There's been such an emphasis on him using like flowery language and being very
true.
So like, yes, I need to get both of these names out and really make sure they're known to everyone listening.
I'm in a shonen manga and I know it, and I'm gonna say both of the attack names.
Don't don't mistaken. Thorn Hunt is entirely separate from Crimson Lotus Hell. These are additional attacks.
It's for the power scalers out there.
If anyone cares about power scalers, it's him, Summers.
Well, somewhere between the Thorn Hunt and the Crimson Lotus Hell, we can't tell the effects of either. But lots of thorns, lots of vines creep up from everywhere. The entire floor of the battlefield turns into sharp spikes. And someone, Steven, do you have any idea who's speaking in that little blast? That's Sommers saying, "Watch your step. There's no safe passage." Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah, boy, he's doing it.
Yeah, you can see there's a little tiny spike of his near his leg. I think that's kind of the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could see that amongst all the other spikes.
Right.
Preposterous. All right. So then he says, "Watch your step. There's no safe passage." To which Scopper replies, "Listen, I'm in a hurry." And so he just whips his axe around.
The same voice.
Listen, they're two old dudes with long beards and
they are
sunglasses.
Very similar. And they both have ornamental things in the middle of their beards.
These are the same dude, just who have lived very different lives. Okay. But he goes, "Slice, slice, slice," and chops through all of the thorns. "Come on, then," yells Sommers. But to which Scopper replies, "Axe Symphony!" And by God, he chops the man and he breaks him in half. He chops Sommers clean in twain, hockey lightning arcing around. There's a surprise. There's a boom, which makes you know that it's an important moment. We even get a second silent panel of Sommers' head, his cleanly flying away from his body, as Scopper avoids landing on the spikes. And in fact, uses his axe to sort of propel himself in a somersault over the effects of either Thorn Hunt or Crimson Lotus Hell, from which one must watch one step, for there is no safe passage.
Scopper is so cool.
Just to elaborate for Zach about these guys both being the same thing. This is Ron Swanson and Hippie Ron.
Oh shit, it is. But let's be clear, Ron Swanson is the villain in this. It's unfortunate.
So Scopper is Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I was like trying to remember who that was. Yeah,
good fit.
Nick Offerman and Sam Elliott.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. Gonna get Steve to draw that.
Goldie Roger abides.
Chill.
So yes, then as Scott Gabon has somersaulted over Summers, he shouts, "I'm coming, Colin!" Because apparently this wasn't actually that many thorns, to be honest. This is kind of a sad little patch, my dude. As Nami and Usopp just shout, "What?" Because they've never seen acrobatics before in the world of One Piece. As they're shouting, "He beat him!"
Mostly people just slam into things, to be fair.
That is true. That is the Luffy way. Like, theoretically, Luffy could go around things, but he chooses not to. As Chopper makes a quick decision here and abandons his friends, just shouts, "Where are you going, Chopper?" As he then does not do acrobatics or, pull out jump point or anything, and proceeds to, I assume, step on the thorns because there was no way to avoid them.
I do want to there is a explicit call out of Summers falling onto the spikes that then say not that is the sound effect. The spikes stay stab, stab, stab.
Oh, I hope. Yeah.
I love that.
I just like how Chopper's going in a straight line through the thorns, hurting himself. Yeah. It's like in Prometheus when the ship crashes, and like if they just run to the left or right, you could have avoided the ship entirely.
Well, because
it really doesn't look like that big of a patch of thorns. Super real.
It's not. He goes right through it.
Well, he's got those hooves. He's sort of like a mountain goat, just sort of like.
That's what I was figuring.
He's saying, "Ow, ouch, ouch!" Like it's hurting him.
Listen,
no, but it wouldn't hurt him.
Jump over it. He's fine.
True.
Yes.
True. But I'll say, Well, first of all, like, to get, what would he jump off of Saul's beard? Wasn't he still in his beard?
He was in the beard, yeah.
Yeah. So that would hurt Saul potentially. So maybe that's why he didn't do
Saul's
it.
dead.
Again?
Yeah.
How many
He
times
dies once a year.
How many times? Will this Saul ever stay dead? Yes. The answer is yes. Go ahead.
Okay. As Chopper is running after Skopper and causing himself damage while he does so, shouts, or thinks to himself, how was he able to slice up a guy who's immortal? That's gotta be a crucial secret. Yeah, that's about how it goes with shonen manga.
Yeah, but it's good that he realized that it's something we should
That was
find
very,
out.
like, genre, like, savvy of Chopper of all people, really, to understand that.
Chopper's genre savvy. He's naive, but he's genre savvy.
As we move over to the school with mostly asleep children, and then this dude, what's his name, Killingham or something silly, right? That's Killingham. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Noodle. You can see that it's on fire. They have set fire. As he goes, you have proven yourself obedient to Angie,
yeah.
Anjay, that one. As he draws back a bow with a flame on it, and goes, "That's all we needed to see. I'll take care of the other building." As Anjay cries.
Yeah, I will never forgive them. I just want to say though, despite this being a sad moment, I think the burning of the school with the rings is a very cool looking panel, particularly by the assistants. I like the composition of that in particular.
It kind of confused me. I thought there was like some barrier stuff happening. Like
I
I like what it looks like, but if you don't know what you're looking for, I'm like, is this a dream?
Yeah,
it's that. But well, we did see that before. That was the Walrus School entrance.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
right?
It's just with the fire, it just makes it a little confusing.
I get it.
It's in the Nut Bar world of One Piece comic book storytelling. Like that panel should be a full page spread.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It said here it is less important than the Dragon Man saying "Good, well done." So,
but the Dragon Man has such a great design.
It's true. He's got a little snoot.
Yeah, look at his snoot. Look at his little fascist snoot. We go to the next page. There's the fascist. We go to the next page as the library is now aflame. And we're all thinking of the owl's name, Biblo. I remembered. Biblo Baggins. And hopefully he's okay. But I'm assuming this is Sommers again laughing, or who the heck is this?
It
Killingham?
does kind of sound like it. I mean, I guess it has to be Killingham, but Waha is very like Summers coded laugh.
Waluigi.
So.
Well, if you see,
Well,
there's
I mean,
a
they're
little
all evil.
tiny arrow right in the corner.
I love though that was pointed out in the spikiest panel we're ever going to see. And it might be Summers because Robin could see it going on the next panel. So it's I need to look at the penis map again, but the branch
like down
is
the
going.
road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we're
branch
all
I
in
think
the
goes like
vicinity.
over. Yeah. Anyway, Robin, heartbroken, having to see this again. Saul alive and crying. I believe only living people do that. And you have Jarl just, despondent, having made this decision. Everyone's saying it's not your fault, but it is. I guess it's everyone's fault. You shouldn't leave a decision like this in the hands of a half a millennia old man with a sword through his brain. And I've been saying this, and yet here we are. Anyway, Jarl says, the words of our forefathers, all of our history, gone. We go to the next page as we see Ronya. It says, I was like looking down the page just to make sure. I want to say Ilva, and then I was like, no, that's not Ilva. And she is now staring at the school and library burning in the distance from atop is it the head of an arrow? Is that the technical term?
Point.
Anyway,
The point.
point. Well,
I think
we
head
were
is
just-
correct.
Okay, whatever.
The
Saying-
oblio of an arrow.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a very specific word that no one knows.
The tippy
And
top.
the tippy top. Yes, that's the scientific name. Thank you. So atop the tippy top, Ronya is looking at this tragedy occurring, and Killingham confirms that the fire is indeed burning. And an interesting panel here, I think, of Gunko saying, "Why aren't you happy?" And Ronya is crying, apologizing to everyone still over the transponder snail pill bug thing, saying, "I am sorry that I am still alive. I'm sorry that everything's burning because of me." And you have the kids saying, "No, no, Ronya." And the giant pirates also saying, "It is not your fault, Ronya." Jill, what
Boy,
happens next? Yeah.
I've sent that Slack message before.
It's not your fault, Ronya?
What?
No,
Why?
Or
I'm
sorry
sorry
that
that I'm
everything's
still alive.
burning
I'm sorry that
because of
everything's
me.
burning
Oh,
because of me.
Same.
Why aren't you happy?
Same. Yeah, go ahead, Jill.
Okay, then we go back to Gunko, and in the distance, Scopper Gaban is racing towards her, going, "Culture, history, children, troops. You don't have the right to take any of these things away." As he's looking pretty
The king of the
angy.
pirates had all. No, sorry.
Yes.
That's what I was just thinking the way you said that.
One man had all of these. Yeah.
Culture, history, children, troops. The king of the pirate had this, and
You can
more.
find them all on
You
Elbaf.
can find them all on him. Yeah. Well, you did. Yeah. Jill, sorry.
Start of the Great Viking era. As Gunko, utterly shocked because I don't know. I guess they didn't do their research. It's not like the dude was really hiding. A crewmate of the King of Pirates. You realize that resistance means the death of these hostages. That's all like this little preschool of cute children who are still walking to their death. They're going, "Oh, it's Mr. Ya! Colin, Mr. Ya is here!"
Actually, can I? Sorry,
Yes.
fact check on that. No, I'm not 100% sure, but I think aren't they moving now in the opposite direction since they actually did the thing and burned them down? I thought that. I mean, I have to look. I guess.
No,
Yeah.
they're still walking towards the village. They just wanted to like burn the library down as like a submit to
test,
us. We're
yeah.
taking your kids no matter what. But they're still walking towards the village.
No, they were walking. They were going to walk off the cliff of the branch. Now they're just walking.
Just
yeah.
just Ronja. They're walking towards
Okay.
the port in the village.
Yeah,
and
it's
taking
the
the
little-
boat.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay, got
yeah,
it.
the harbor.
Thank you for the clarification. I did need that. Yeah, thank you. Jill.
If only there was a phallic-shaped map that could convince us. one
This
way or
is what I've been saying.
As they're all going, let's just say in the direction of the arrow. That's
Of
where
the
they're
arrow,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, they're just following the arrow.
The tippy top.
Yeah, to the tippy top. He came to save us. As Scopper Gavan is like, "Don't speak up, Colin. Don't do it. My child son who will clearly want his parents to help him." As next panel. Also, shout out to my dad. My dad's pretty awesome. He thinks that the main character of One Piece's name is One Piece because as a kid I read Naruto and Inuyasha and that's how anime worked.
And
So it took him a
Nisekoi
long
too.
time to
Everyone
understand
knows.
Luffy.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows that's
Nisekoi.
always how it works. Yeah, Nisekoi, the main character in Nisekoi. Yeah.
So shout out to my dad. As Colin also shouts out to his dad, "Daddy! That's my daddy, everybody! Guess what? He's stronger than anyone! He's gonna save us all! Yay!" So yeah, great moves.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
This would end up on that subreddit, "Kids are fucking stupid."
Have not read that one, but I am
As
logging in
immediately,
right now. No.
Gunko's like, "Oh, father's mentioned?" As she can hear the child, Skakkerbagon also hears the child, realizes that they're SOL, and then he does something here.
Is he
There's a lot of-
cutting
there's
off
a
the
zoosh.
arrow? Oh no, I'm sorry. You want to, Stephen? Maybe you could better explain. I don't know.
Well, he's swinging something because there's a circle around
His
him.
axe.
Yeah.
Is he
I see.
throwing
And
it?
It's making a
No.
whoosh.
I thought he was using it like a propeller to make himself go faster,
He's-
and then he's
yeah.
using the arrow
He-
for the
okay.
momentum.
Okay.
No, what he's doing is he's swinging at Gunko, but Gunko also takes off. She does like the Roadrunner thing, and she's zooming down the arrow as we will see in the next panel.
Because he's trying to stop Gunko from getting to Colin, but you can see the arrows going straight to his neck. Yes. Ken, can you explain why?
All right. So Gunko is now at the tippy top of the arrow with a arrow sword pointed at Colin's neck. He's like, no! And then Gunko's like, so you don't mind if I kill him? That's what I take your response. And Gunko has the sword right at Colin's throat.
Not to detract from the drama of the moment, but that drawing of Colin looks a lot like Roboco. With the round nose.
With the little nose,
yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Well, you did detract from that.
yeah, no
now
problem.
I can't unsee that.
Child's about to die. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. No.
And then we get Scopper's inner monologue where he's like, "This is my final chance. There's still time to put out the fire in the library. I can save the children and Elbaf in the process, as long as it's instant." And Scopper yells out, "Hang in there, Colin! Give me 1 second! You're a big, strong boy now! My little giant child, you!"
Isn't he like 20 years old?
He's 20 years old! Sorry.
Yeah,
I've been saying that this whole
it's
time.
It's like 9. It's okay. And Colin's
yeah,
like,
I don't get it, though. It's the same amount of time passes. I've been saying this. It doesn't make sense. But whatever. Brain development takes longer, I guess?
Yeah, that's. I think that's how we have to rationalize it.
Yeah,
The way you're meant to read this is him being very desperate. Hang in there, Colin! Give me 1 second! But it's really funny to read it as an exasperated dad going like, "Hang in there, Colin! Give me 1 second! You're a big, strong boy now!"
I just gotta beat up this lady.
Come on, Dad, beat up the lady.
Yeah, Dad.
I'm trying! If you would stop talking, I could!
God, you asked me 30 times. I'm just trying to do it. Oh my God.
But anyway, on the next page, Colin's like, "Okay, Daddy, I'm a warrior. You beat this creep." And meanwhile, Scopper is in his inner monologue again, like, "Be strong. If you get hurt, I'll make sure you survive." And Gunko says, "A life once lost will never return." And everyone's like, "Look out, Colin!" Scopper is running up, and we get a bunch of memory flashbacks here of Scopper and Ripley with the birth of Colin, which I'm not even gonna think how that works.
You ever think about how many SBS questions Oda just does not answer about things like this?
Well,
it's the Odin and Toki situation all over again.
Well,
the
Big
birth
Mom
isn't
even
the
too.
issue. The birth isn't the issue. It's the But dot. Yeah, this is this is when Noah was born. I was standing on my wife's hand. I don't know why this is different.
What's the Rumika Takahashi quote? Somebody asked her what would happen
if Rama get pregnant. Yeah,
if Rama got pregnant, and she said, "I don't think about it, and you shouldn't think about it either."
Yeah, Oda should give that answer more than he does. He usually just gives the answer because he does think about it, and he has. But it's a beautiful little family here, regardless.
It's very beautiful. Ripley
not
goes,
little.
Well, yes, as he's about to point out, Ripley's like, "This is our son, Mr. Ya," and Scopper's like, "He's so adorable and huge. What a gift you've given me, Ripley, my lifelong treasure." It's just a very sweet flashback, honestly.
That hit me. That one panel really hit me.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Ripley in the present day. "Please be safe, Colin." Meanwhile, Colin, with his freaking lollipop head, is like kind of like bracing his neck as much as he can as Gunko is slowly pushing the needle of the sword into his throat. You can see some blood spurting out there, and he's trying to say like trying to stay strong. Meanwhile, Scopper in his inner monologue again, "I have to stop this before these things spiral out of control." As he's running.
It's in control now?
Further out of control. By the way, this is the amount of rage I would have in this situation. I can't express the amount personally.
The look on his, I just want to like, the art on that last panel is so like scribbly and sketchy, and like the hockey swelling off from like the black lightning. It gets the point across of how like tense this moment is supposed to be.
This one feels like, I mean, we've discussed this thing before, but that Oda has to feel the emotion that the character is feeling in that panel. This I feel that
absolutely
not always successful at that, but here I did feel it. David.
But then Scopper receives a hockey infused vision of the future of Gunko. That's her name.
Mm-hmm.
Straight shoving her lance through a child's neck, which is a wild thing to get in your Shonen Jump. Colin yelling, ah! Which is impressive again because his throat it would be sort of more of a. But let's not.
Yeah,
go
this
there.
is where we should.
So while Colin says, "I'll be strong," and folks say, "Oh no, Colin." Scopper relents. He says, "Don't do it. I yield." And he drops his axe. Gunko pulls her lance back. Shoop. Scopper apologizes in his inner monologue. "I'm sorry, Elbaf." Whereas Gunko proclaims, "Feeble, frail thing," and fires off several arrows directly into his chest. When I say arrow, I mean, of course, not a flechette, but actual, big ass tutorial arrows straight into his heart. Again with a da-doom, so you know that it's a big deal.
They should say "to be continued" on each of them. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
And as he falls off of the arrow, Scopper apologizes. "I'm sorry, Colin. I must have hurt. I'm sorry." And Colin says, "Huh? Daddy! Daddy!" As Scopper falls off of the tree branch into the infinite abyss below. Meanwhile, Chopper, not Scopper. Have we done anything with Tony Scopper or Chopper Gaban? I feel like there's
maybe this isn't the week to do that.
Gaban. I was saying Chopper and Scopper attorneys at law, but
oh, I like it. Yeah, we'll see. Like, because Scopper does the chopping and Chopper does the. No, he doesn't do the scoping.
The scoping.
Scoping. There you go.
Yeah, scoping.
I don't like that either. I don't like any of this.
But Chopper, as he runs towards the scene, sees Scopper falling off. Colin screaming, tears welling in his eyes. "Are you surviving, Zach?" As he yells, "Daddy!"
No. So wait, Chopper is going after him there? I just noticed this.
Chopper's suicide jumps right after.
Yeah, what's
Scopper.
his plan? Yeah,
I think he
Or
forgot
he could
he's
be
not.
a fuzzball. Yeah,
He forgot he's not a flying reindeer.
I always forget that. Yeah, I don't know if he has a plan.
Scopper looks like Santa Claus, so he's like, "Oh, this is my moment. I can save Christmas."
I have a feeling it's gonna be like giant guard point Chopper landing on like Loki with Scopper Gaban landing on
could
that.
be.
Oh
It turns
god,
out
that would be
Scopper
great.
was actually named Santa Claus Opper Gaban.
Wow, it's Scoldy Roger all over again. I see. Steven.
All right. Yeah. I don't know what Chopper. Maybe he's going to turn into like Monster Chopper and like hurl Gaban or something like that. We'll have to find out. To wait and see. But on the last spread of the chapter, the kids they're still stuck in the line, even after his near-death experience. Poor Colin is just marching along with the rest of them as he says, "Daddy!" And the other ones are crying out, "Mr. Ya! Daddy!" And this, repetition and pained cries for the father figure seems to, inflict some kind of a psychic wound on Gunko. You get a little kind of a sparking effect near her head, and she has the exclamation points as she seems to recall a voice saying, "Father, Father." And we see, some kind of child, presumably her. You can't really tell, like you can't see the eyes, for example, in this figure, but it is superimposed right above her headgear from the present day. So it's probably her, as she is kind of reacting with bewilderment. She's like, "What is this memory?" And then in unmistakable, both catchphrase and silhouette here as we hear a yo-ho-ho and a little child who is hand in hand kind of dancing along to some music with what is clearly Brooke, and hearing Brooke say, well, it's my dream to be a pirate, you see. And Gunko is breathing very heavily, and then there's like a zoom in on her eye.
Which eye is that?
I mean, I guess it's the left eye, right? It's the
no,
one
but
that's
if it's the right, it would be interesting. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like
like a Doflamingo-y thing, like when we have. I was
going to say it did remind me of the Doflamingo eye reveal scene where he had the little super close up. And meanwhile, uncannily with uncanny timing, Brooke says the resemblance is uncanny, as he seems to be referring to someone or something, while Usopp extorts the rest of the group to think of a way to escape. And Brooke is like, oh, pardon me, as he's getting distracted. And Gunko is then thinking, Brooke? And she starts running towards presumably towards the group. You can't really tell what she's running towards, but she is running. And she says, are you Brooke? And then all of a sudden there's kind of like a little feedback sound, like a something, you get these concentric sort of sonar like sound circles around her head as she grunts, and then an ethereal voice says, what is taking so long? And Sommers, who is still suffering the Crimson Lotus hell, is
not
just,
enough hell.
He looks like the guy from the end of Hot Fuzz, where he gets impaled on the steeple.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Super bunny man.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's in the dentist chair and he's been forgotten. He's just sitting there like,
He's the spandom of this arc, and I wish that his.
Yeah,
yes,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
call.
good.
It's a shame that Scobber had to run and get to other business and couldn't deliver a real sick one-liner like "stick around" or "get the point" or something like that.
He could have if he wanted to.
Yeah,
but no time for dad jokes, I guess, for him. Yeah, they were right there. Anyway, go ahead.
Of course, Killingham recognizes this voice and thinks, "Great Emu." Not to be confused with Gunko, who is a great emo. At this, Emu says, "At this moment, the Holy Land is a sea of fire," and the kids are like, "What happened to her? She looks scary now." As Gunko,
she looked normal before,
right? Yeah, she wasn't scary before. And the ethereal voice continues, "We need greater numbers. Allow Mu to show you the dominance of God," as we get this extremely imposing and frightful panel of Gunko completely shadowed. You can see both of her eyes are now white and kind of concentric circles.
Sharingan.
Yeah,
the
emu
Sharingan.
eyes. Yeah,
the Imugan. And
Imugan, there it is.
Yeah. And is crackling with some hockey electrical power of sorts. And it's just a big Doom panel. And Doom is very appropriate in this case. Because, Emu is here, apparently.
Now, just to check the language here.
Mm-hmm.
So when Killingham says great emu, he says emu. And then when this voice speaking through Gunko speaks, it does not say emu, it says mu.
Yes, as a first
we
person
discussed this a while
pronoun.
ago.
Yes, this did happen before.
Okay.
And in Japanese it's just mu, blah blah blah, and instead of like watashi or one of the other first person pronouns.
Like when Emu was talking to Cobra, like Emu was like, "Why are you hiding it from Mu?" or like from me.
Right. Yeah, that's how I've kind of chosen to represent that, is to find a way to use me in a sentence and then use mu instead, which is almost exactly like what Emu is doing in the Japanese.
Kind of like how Miss Piggy says moi. Allow
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit.
dominance of God.
Oh well, this is my new
There's the
theory.
Well,
image.
this is my headcanon now.
Damn.
Ms. Piggimu. Maybe that's like.
Oh
the,
my
good. That's pretty
god.
good.
Oh, there we go.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Is taking so long. This moment, the Holy
Now I-
Land is a sea of fire.
Subscribe to us on Patreon for us asking Steve to draw all these things. We'll see what he actually does. We forgot to mention, he is currently dressed as Bartholomew Kuma as we record
At Momocon.
at Momocon with Guinea.
I just
Ginny?
picked
Why did I
Ginny.
think-
Ginny.
Why did I say Guinea? I don't know.
I just picture
go ahead.
Steve walking around Momocon just pushing people. Like, this is my power. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is his
it's
power.
fun. It's
Sorry,
funny.
Don.
It's a little funny because like using mu as a first person pronoun, I don't know, maybe it comes off a little bit differently to a Japanese person, but to me, with my particular diet of like sort of Japanese entertainment writing, having characters, particularly like American characters or otherwise like foreign wacky characters in like a gag manga and stuff, a lot of times one of the classic ways that a humorous mangaka will represent that character is they'll say me blah 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 blah, like and so basically it's like every time they're talking about themselves, it's like me wants this, me want that. And it's it's a super like
you want
stereo.
cookie.
Yeah, it sounds like it kind of sounds like a Cookie Monster a little bit. But it's like it's a very easy sort of shorthand for like this is a wacky non-Japanese character who is acts in very goofy ways, and it is kind of funny that in the way that it is implemented here, it is almost exactly the same, except it's like the the uber villain of the series, and is meant to be as
This is Oda. This is Oda.
as menacing as possible. Yeah. So it does come off a little funny in that way, and I guess it is kind of true. Just like having your shtick be that like if you say part of your name, it's almost like a Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
But that's how he's been doing it. Which
I
is
like it. I thought it's
interesting.
always been a very fun quirk. It reminds me of like when like evil royalty and like fiction.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
they use the royal
Right,
The royal
yeah.
we,
Well,
like the King
Or
of
they
the
speak in
Cosmos.
they speak in the third person because
Yes,
they're so
exactly.
amazing. Yeah.
Right.
but also like to the divinity of it. I don't know if this is anywhere near Oda's thought, but like from my Judeo-Christian perspective, it's like asking God, "What's your name?" and he replies, "I am." The prospect of divinity is only expressible through there's no point in saying a name. A name would indicate that there's others than you. There's no others than
Yes.
you. You're just yourself.
It would be a limitation on yourself. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
While
Stephen.
while I'm here, while we're talking about language stuff, I do want to go through these little panels here because my very first inclination here, just because of the way, and maybe other people thought this, maybe nobody did, maybe it was just me, but when Gunko is reacting to the the daddy stuff, and then she's thinking of father, and then you get the image of presumably baby Gunko here with Brooke. I was thinking, oh, is she Brooke's daughter? Like, is that what's going on here? But it is easier, I think, to discount that or to construct a different narrative, particularly looking at the Japanese language, because okay, so what do we say? Brooke's background is that before he was a pirate, and he being a pirate was his dream, obviously, as he says here. He was it's translated in different ways, but he's like he was like the leader of a military unit for
Do you want
a
me
certain
to
kingdom.
read it, Stephen, or?
Sure. I mean, I think it's been translated in multiple ways, even in Viz. But yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, he says, long ago I was the leader of a battle convoy in a certain kingdom. After that, I served the
Yeah.
Rumbar pirates as the musician swordsman and later stepped in as captain.
I think that's what he says at the end of Thriller Bark, but even
Yeah.
in the middle when he's
Yeah.
fighting, what's his name, the zombie,
The spider?
Oars?
or was it? There was a spider. I don't know. It's in the middle of the arc. He says something about, and they said he was like the leader of a shock troops or something like that. So that's what I mean by,
I'll
it's
look
been,
for
it's been
it,
translated in multiple ways, but basically he was some kind of a military leader of sorts for a certain kingdom. And when Gunko is thinking of father here, in Japanese that is oto-sama, which if you have the sama ending, it is a very formal, and that's, father is pretty much kind of the only way you can represent that in English. And particularly in One Piece, that tends to only show up in like associated with a higher social caste, right? There's a formality. You must call your dad father. And so it would suggest to me that maybe Gunko in this scenario is perhaps nobility or royalty, or that, her father is a very important person. And then when Brook is explaining this stuff, well, it's my dream to be a pirate, you see, he is talking in kind of Brook's standard mode, which is polite form in Japanese, which, if you've done your 101, Japanese 101 is masu desu. So, all the verbs end in masu and all the sentences end in desu, which is, for One Piece, again, is quite polite. He's the only person on the Straw Hats who talks like that. And you could maybe argue, if you wanted to do devil's advocate, you could maybe argue that, sure, maybe Brook is so dedicated to this like particular voice that he would even talk to his own daughter that way. But to me, it reads much more as like, oh, okay, so this is not really his daughter. This is a, someone who he's talking to as a relative, like social equal, or someone that he is somewhat removed from. So it would suggest more that whatever happened with Gunko here, where she's crying about her father, maybe Brook's, unit was attacking another country. Maybe that, maybe they killed her. Maybe her father was the king, and, she was orphaned in that fight and then ended up under Brook's care somehow. Possibly that's one way you could, kind of read between the lines of these panels. But yeah, I would say that I don't think that this means that they are father and son, or father and daughter, I should say.
Very interesting. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
I
Stephen.
think. Oh,
did you have more, Stephen? Oh, yeah.
No, go. Whatever
Jill
you have
first
to think about that.
I'm sorry. I just go ahead.
Jill,
Okay.
then David, then Ken.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, chapter was great, but I'm just gonna talk about the Brook stuff. I mean, everything else is fantastic, but wow. So what's really interesting is like the time zone, the time range here. I mean, Brook was in for 50 years, right? So it can't be her, unless there's like experiments or she's immortal or something.
Well, I mean, remember who else was immortal that we were confirmed was extremely old aged recently. It was Saint Saturn, and he was under whatever this Emu, demonic power is. So perhaps Gunko was also subjected to that, and it has an age freezing aspect to it.
I think it's interesting because she definitely comes off as younger, and isn't she related to Sommers? Isn't she like, or am I just confused?
No, that I
well,
think.
I don't know where I got that then. Whoopsies.
Well, it's actually
yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
It's interesting that when all of the Holy Knights have been introduced so far, they all gotten like the Saint moniker before their name.
Mm-hmm.
Gunko was just Gunko, and that has not changed yet.
And there was no explanation about her except that she has the arrow fruit. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting the way she's portrayed, with like her mouth being bandaged over and like her hair growing when Emu enters her, and specifically her. It's interesting. Like, I don't know if she's that same girl in that. Like, maybe she's got her memories, maybe she's taking over that body. I don't know if it's just as straightforward as she's just stopped aging for 50 years. I don't know. I'm so excited about this. My God. Thank you, Oda. You always pull out shit like this that just blows away like an arc, and you're like, "Ooh, giants! We're on Elbap." It's like Brook's backstory. I'm so
Great.
excited.
I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this since
flashback,
a while ago.
Can you imagine how bad this is gonna be? It's gonna be so sad.
Yeah, Brook's
no
first
happy ending.
flashback was very sad. So let's see if
And I
Yeah.
would like to say one last thing. There's a single panel here on page 15 where she says, "A life once lost will never return," which is incredible if you think about Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
that's actually great.
Well,
Go ahead, David. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of interesting things here. I think if she is a princess, maybe there is something to like that royal lineage that allows her to be a part of this. That there could be, because other people here have been saints, and we know that there is some connection to royalty going on there. The thing that the yes, eagle-eyed listener might have eagle-eyed, eagle-eared. Eagles don't have good hearing. The dog-eared listener, if you were listening earlier, you might have heard me laugh really hard, and it's because I just realized that with this flashback and the fact that Brooke was the leader of some kind of death squad, it puts him in conversation with Luth and Rail from Andor. Slight spoilers for the new season of Andor, season 2. And I'm just imagining Brooke now going, "I made my mind a silent space. I've shared my dreams with ghosts." Yo, which is wild. But that also to have that sort of father-daughter relationship, but like tortured through the lens of it's not actually a father-daughter relationship, that can mean something really interesting to tackle going forward.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second season yet.
Yeah.
Oh no! You cut that if you need to. Cut it. Don't listen to me before I spoke.
I don't remember anyone's names anyway, so it's fine.
You're fine, David. Don't worry. Just continue, because we're just focusing on the Brooke stuff right now. I kind of like went crazy this morning after this chapter and tried to like theorize as much as I could, and I definitely think that so. I have this whole crazy theory now where we know the Holy Knights, they're okay with recruiting royalty into their ranks because they just tried recruiting Loki to join them as well. So I'm fully on board with the idea of Gunko being the princess of a kingdom long time ago that Brooke served for. I think Brooke was one of the guards of the kingdom. I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but I zoom into that one flashback panel, and I don't know if that's Brooke's normal sword in his hilt, but it looks almost like a cavalier sword. Like, it looks like he's like on duty protecting like a princess kind of thing. And then if the panel of Gunko screaming father, I could see like her father being executed, the kingdom being like taken down, and that's what finally pushes Brooke to leave the kingdom to become a pirate. Like, oh, the kingdom's destroyed now. And for all he knows, he could see Gunko be taken away as a young girl, or she almost looks like a teenager in the panel where she's screaming father. Like, she looks a little bit older there. Mm-hmm. So maybe like it was later in life that this happened, but like I could see the kingdom's destroyed, her father is killed, she's taken away to the Holy Knights, and then whatever Emu does, I feel like Emu is almost like a, lack of a better term, like Pain from Naruto, where like he controls all these like puppets. Like the five elders have like the biggest part of Emu. Maybe all the Holy Knights have little Emu receivers in them, so at any point Emu can see through their eyes. Like maybe that's why Gunko has different colored eyes and can take over. But I think Gunko's original personality memories are still in there. So like we saw like Gunko listening to the Soul King stuff a couple chapters ago. Like, oh, she likes Brooke's music. And when she sees Brooke, she's like, I want you to be my music slave. Like, no, like we've never seen any of like the Celestial Dragons or the Holy Knights act like that, but she wants Brooke for some reason. I don't think even she knows. I think that subconscious memories of Brooke bleeding through this Gunko personality. And like, I don't know why you're so familiar, why I like your music, but she wants it. It's her old self bleeding through without her realizing. Because when she like snaps out of it for a split second here, she goes, Brooke, are you, like, she's like, it all comes like rushing back. And I feel like that's Emu like, okay, I just lost control over this one puppet for a split second. Let me take over fully to like add the brainwashing, whatever, like that. So I don't know. That's me going deep down the theory hole. I've been obsessing about this chapter all morning. And I think that because like I saw at first, like everyone's like, oh, it's Brooke's kid, it's Yorkie's kid, it's all these different things. But I feel like it's going to be much deeper than that. I can't imagine Brooke not mentioning to the crew, like, oh yeah, I had a daughter. Like, doesn't really make sense for a daughter.
Well, he was psychologically unstable from being alone for 50 years.
He was, and like he's 90. You wouldn't be like 90 now. Like he died at 35, 38. 38.
I'm sorry, I'm looking through it again. Right?
No, you're good. He was lost for 50 years, and then 2-year time skip. So he's 90 now. So there's definitely some weird de-aging or immortality going on with Gunko. No matter which way how they do it or how Oda wants to explain it, her age does not make sense if this is the same person from that flashback.
I was gonna say, it doesn't make a lot of sense for Brooke to have a daughter and be like, boy, I really missed that whale I met once. But then it is One Piece.
No hallucinations of his daughter on the ship or anything like that.
Yeah.
My daughter Labubu.
She was named Laboon. He named him after her.
We named the
Indiana whale.
We named the whale Laboon. Yeah.
We're all in sync there. Good.
Yeah. I like what you said about about like the Gunko like recognizing unconsciously something about Brooke's nature in Soul King, because as far as we know, like Soul King is just Soul King. Like nobody knows that Soul King is Brooke, right? Like that part of his identity is really
it's SK Brooke. It's Soul King
like,
Brooke. Yeah.
They announced it at his final tour. They're like, "Hey, that's the Straw Hat, Soul King Brooke. We're gonna arrest you."
It's more so like I can't imagine the Holy Knights like, oh yeah, listen to this music. Like it's like again like music should be like peasant music to them, and Gunko's all about it. Like okay,
so I mean my idea, the music is the one kind of wrinkle in it, was that especially upon reread just now, like I think Gunko, and I'm going to say the Holy Knights generally, their personalities kind of take a backseat in the brain of whoever that is for the sake of Imu. So I mean, particularly with Gunko, I think the dichromatic eyes, the vibe generally, I feel like her relationship with Brooke, the fact that she literally was talking to him, listening to his music, and nothing was triggered then, but here it was triggered, is extremely interesting. And that's why I mentioned the eye thing. Like maybe this is Gunko's true self coming out for the first time here. Like her. Yeah.
That was what that was what I was going to say, which is that
sorry, Steven.
The idea that like some part of her, whether she's conscious of it or not, but that some part of her recognizes that, and as part of her past self, is such a One Piece thing. Like this idea of like the heart must be true to itself on some level, that even if she doesn't realize it, she is associating, something about this music with a comforting past history, sort of thing. And that is such a One Piece thing for to reside within her deeply. And I think that's a great detail that Oda can explore more when we get further into this, whatever this backstory is.
It's also exceptionally weird. Like she joins the flashback in progress, the way it like that she hears half the word father, and like the way it's coming back and the way she is relating to it, saying what is this memory, is super interesting to me. I mean, like Brooke, I think right away recognized her somewhat. I think he did say like something's familiar about you, and it makes more sense that if he knew her as a much younger individual and he's had his own things going on, like that makes sense. I think the fact, I don't know, it's interesting. Why does Imu, as Ken said, why does Imu show up here and now specifically? What is it? I understand he wants this to happen quickly, but they would have had to cross the sea by boat anyway. Like that's with the children. So yeah, go on.
We didn't even touch on this. Imu says at the end, the entire Holy Land is in flames. So that's leading me to think that Dragon and the Revolutionary Army are attacking right now. I feel like the war is happening right now. And Emu's like, why is this taking so long? Get back. Dragon is here and burning shit down.
I don't know if it's metaphorical or literal.
Yeah,
Maybe, Steven,
it's up in the air. We can't say for sure. But,
that's true.
Because you could call it a sea of fire just because like things are in upheaval and that the food is,
right.
Like,
when I go to
things
work,
were
it's a
not
sea of
doing
fire.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
When we left Mary Joa for them, as far as their first world problems, Mary Joa problems, I guess, like
they can't have their second lobster.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's like a retail customer. You are ruining my child's Christmas. This place is on fire.
He wanted 2 lobsters for Christmas.
I've got 2
Santa Gabon.
I've got 2 crazy thoughts, both stemming from outside media. The first is ever since
No spoilers this time.
Ever since Jesus Christ, I am
Wait,
so sorry.
David, before you say
okay.
anything, can I guess one of the media?
Please.
Get Out? Jordan
No.
Peele's Get Out? Okay, never mind. Keep going.
The first is Game of Thrones. Ever since it was revealed
Never heard of
that Oda has seen Game of Thrones, I've always wondered, like, when are those ideas going to start really leaching into this comic? And of course, the red woman, the priest, the priestess of the Lord.
Melisandre.
Yeah, Melisandre. She requires king's blood to cast her spells. There's some potency to the blood of kings, even supposed kings or philosophical kings. Like, as long as you have the air of royalty about you, it makes your blood potent for magic. And I wonder, maybe there's something here about having these royals under Emu's control, that maybe there's something to it that he, because of who they are and of their station, it gives him greater access and control. Maybe because of the conditions of whatever ended the war for in the Void Century, there could be something there. It makes me start to wonder, does Mary Joa exist not as like a sanctuary for the nobles? Like, they would see it as a sanctuary for the nobles, but are they actually stock for his power? Which is a fun idea. The other is Gunko is not dressed like the other knights. Her, and when you look at her costume, it actually,
she's not dressed at all.
She has no pants.
I know. But what it really evokes is the costumes from Cyborg 009.
Yes.
The 6-button sort
I
of
was gonna
button-up
mention
thing,
that,
the short skirts. And of course, in Cyborg 009, these are people who are kidnapped by an evil organization and had their bodies modified to serve. I think, what's the name of the villain? Is that like
Black Ghost?
Black Ghost, yes.
Do you know why I remember that? It's Peter Cullen in a Toonami commercial from 2001. That's the only reason I remember that.
No, this is important though, because Black Ghost is basically the first like superhero villain in or like the first really major superhero villain. He's kind of playing off of what is it, Golden Bat, the original Japanese superhero. But so like, there might be something there in the visual encoding of Gunko to say, hey, look at this character. We are evoking this this notion of a human who has been modified into something else to serve an evil purpose, and one day will break free of that and serve a good purpose.
I like that.
That's great.
Yeah, that's excellent, David. I was like trying to figure out the Cyborg 009,
Yeah,
because it's there, I feel like, a little bit.
Yeah, and she's got I feel like I might have mentioned this like when she first showed up, but like the cap being that sort of like flat top with the very short little brim is very much like Japanese Imperial Army coded. And that's why you see a lot of like old characters from the 60s shows where they wear those hats, because it's still kind of a cultural relic, I guess, of sort of the first half of the 20th century.
Oh, like Yatterman.
Yeah.
JoJo's even like
right, JoJo too. Yeah. And that's
similar.
very right. Right.
Or like her cape and mask kind of give you that like big scarf feel that Ishinomori heroes
Yeah.
tend to have.
Yeah, it is
it's a good comparison too, because we've already seen, like, with what was it, Germa 66 being like Shocker from is it
Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider, yeah. So like he's not above doing some visual allusions to classic characters.
No, he's definitely not above doing. I don't think anyone thought that. He does that a lot. Stephen, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I don't know if there was more you wanted to say.
No, I mean, should we talk about the chapter as a whole, or
do we have to?
No, we definitely should, because I do have a lot to say about that. I'll say about this. Well, I guess I said my piece basically about Gunko. Didn't Greg post something like of what he thought?
Did.
Yeah,
he basically called. He basically called this like 10 days ago, like before he would have had any chance to have access to.
I think he also mentions
chapter.
this on the SGS. Like whenever you last did it, he did mention something about Gunko.
He might have. I don't know. To be honest, a lot of his like idle thoughts are like there's so many steps ahead that I can't necessarily remember the specifics of what he talks about. Because
didn't we talk a while ago on the podcast that people thought Gunko was gonna like turn good, or like oh, she looks Revolutionary Army, or like she looks like she's under someone's, like someone brought up that she was under someone's control a long time ago, I feel like.
We did, and I went back and forth because last week she was such a dick.
I thought it was copium, to be honest. I was like, oh, they really want this cute girl to be a good girl.
That's what I thought too.
And then I thought
there's
Oda was
no
like
way.
really hammering
I'm
it.
not even saying she is in any way good, but that she has like look, Doflamingo had a tragic backstory. That doesn't mean he's good in any way.
Right.
That sometimes it's just an explanation for why you tick a certain way. I just think the dichromatic eyes plus the connection with Emu and the stuff with Brooke makes it a little more likely that there's a dual personality or something going on.
Well,
No character this Chunibyo could possibly be evil.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I mentioned briefly before Get Out, the horror movie. Like, there's a whole.
I knew where you were going with this. Yeah,
there's a whole thing where a person's memory or personality is pushed down to the sunken place, and someone else is piloting their body. But there are points in that movie where it's usually a flash in the eyes where the characters like regain their memories and their consciousness for like a split second before the pilot takes over, and that's what happens here. Gunko gets her body back, and then Emu takes back over.
It's also half the episodes of all the Star Treks.
Yes,
there's
exactly.
A lot of that. Yeah.
Do you want me to read? I have Greg's statement.
Yes,
here.
I would like to hear that.
He did, and he did post this on Twitter today.
Yeah.
So it is not it's not a secret thing, but it was originally in private. So Greg said about more than 10 days ago, don't know if you discussed her name, Gunko, but it literally means like child soldier. If Oda wants to, he can go full baby 5 with her and have her be an orphan. So plenty of room for drama there. Soul King fan. Or even if she was the young lady at Harahetanya. I forget what the Viz version of that was the kingdom where Brooke was summoned during the time skip, like the starving.
Oh, that's where we're from. The Satan worshippers.
The Satan worshippers.
Yeah,
you have to offer her more.
We had by the way, also summoning circle there. Someone mentioned this, I think, somewhere in our Discord.
Right.
Maybe we're the One Piece podcast, connected in some way here.
Yeah, you did this.
I did. I offered them more.
So apparently this was also a theory. If Gunko was the young lady at Harahetanya or whatever aside, there's also, Greg says, a super duper intriguing potential for Brooke lore development if she ends up being from a family that was saved by Brooke's actions as a siege knight. So, yeah, Greg was all over this apparently.
That's scary. That's really scary.
Yeah. The one thing I forgot that I did want to mention is I get it, but I don't buy that he was like evil turned good. Like, look, the army he might have been part of might not have been in the right. I don't really know. I don't know. We don't know any of the context of anything here.
You're talking about Brooke?
But for Brooke, yeah. But I am more inclined to believe that he was probably on a righteous side just because he is one of our main characters. I don't see Oda doing that again. I should say Jinbei kind of, but even that, it isn't, he wasn't really with Arlong. Like, I don't, if there's one thing that Oda usually has, like, in a kind of sanctimonious way, it's like, I don't really think your main characters could be true evil or have worked with true evil in a way like that.
I could see it going both ways because he's telling the little girl, like, I want to be a pirate. So if he thinks the kingdom is awful and bad, he wants to leave. Like,
he said
piracy was different back in those days. Really, I think it was more like adventuring and stuff than like after the Great Pirate era.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
True.
Yeah, and he said he was the leader of a battle convoy of a certain kingdom. Like, and after that, I served with it. Yeah, I'm like trying to. I don't know.
I was just thinking to myself, the last time Oda tried to do a character's backstory where they were sort of conflicted about doing bad things, it was Senor Pink, and we did not like that one. So,
oh look,
but a lot of One Piece fans did.
A lot of that is true.
He just, he was a good bank worker.
And then for 3 years after that, we had men in diapers at conventions. Yep.
Would you like to see my diaper?
I don't know. Well, I stopped going to conventions, so I guess it didn't to me.
Okay.
Talk about the rest of the chapter.
Yeah. Anything else about Gunko? This is the time.
No, I'm Gunko'd out.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing is, well, there's nothing to say. I'm just very curious about Imu and his role generally, his existence generally. I feel like this puts things even more into question if he could astral project himself into someone else's body. Is that just a Gunko thing, or is that just an Imu thing, or is that some other thing?
Like if he's able to superpower Gunko here, like why wasn't he doing that with the five elders?
The five elders,
they were getting their asses kicked. Yeah,
that's kind of why I think Gunko might be a unique individual in this. Yeah, like
I saw some theories online.
The eyes in particular, I think. Yeah.
I saw some theories online where people were like, "Oh, Imu needs a new body or something like that, like a new permanent body, and that's why they want Vivi to be the new body."
Right.
And I don't like that. I don't want to go that way.
That might be
but...
Gunko. Might actually be that. Like
it
maybe he does. But that doesn't make sense either because the five elders were ageless. Why would Imu have that issue?
But the five elders were all saints though. Maybe Gunko is seemed as lesser, and he was like, "I'll take over the body of a peasant or like of or of royalty." I don't know.
No, I think if anything, because I think Imu sees everyone as peasants, including personally.
The five elders, yeah,
including
that's true.
The five elders.
Yep, that's true.
Her hair is growing in this last panel. Do you think she's like transforming?
Yeah, Super Saiyan 3, I think is what it's called.
It's Life Return, right? That was the Midori.
We didn't catch her eating in the previous panel, just like a ton.
I took that as her hat like getting loose and like her hair falling out.
Yeah, I would believe that. Oda could do that.
Yeah. Although
but her hat isn't moving at all.
It would be cool if there was like what Sulong but for humans going on.
Yeah.
Not to say that is what is happening.
Humans are animals too.
Yeah. Or like
she could be part mink. We don't know
that sort of relationship.
She's going Super Satan 3.
Ooh. I like that.
Has anyone here played like the Phoenix Wright games at all?
I've only been watching them on
like in Phoenix Wright when when a spirit is channeled in someone's body, they take on like the appearance of...
Oh yeah.
So maybe this is some because Gunko has Imu's eyes here. What if people have theorized Imu may be female, or maybe we don't know. But what if Imu is female, and this is the first hint? Like, oh look, this is the longer hair. It's Imu's eyes. Like, what if like Gunko is taking on physical attributes of Imu?
To be fair,
they're gonna win this court case.
Imu is Luffy's mom. Yeah, that's my theory.
To be fair, I think that's one of the more stupid parts of Phoenix, right?
No, it's the best part.
Well, we could disagree there.
Except when Pearl does it. When Pearl does it, it's... okay, never mind.
Yes. I've only known this because of Sungwon and Steve. It's their fault. Yeah. Okay. So chapter itself. I don't know who wants to dive into it first. David, do you want to? Besides, if you have anything else to say.
No, I think we've covered just about everything. I think this was a really exciting chapter. I just hope that the next. I feel like there's been a lot of things going on in One Piece where it's a situation getting worse and worse and worse and worse, which is fine. That is, drama. But I could use like some kind of catharsis. I could use some something like changing or happening. And I think that the end of this chapter is promising that. But like, I'm really curious about what's going on with Luffy. I miss that guy.
Jill.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with the action in this one. I always love it when, like, the big badass, like, mysterious character, like Scopper Gabon's like, all right, we're just gonna end this quickly. But unfortunately, that got, cut short here. I find it very interesting that Chopper is, like, going after to find the secret to cutting him, and it's not just, like, hockey. Because if it was hockey, like, Chopper wouldn't be going after looking for the secret here.
It can't be.
So, like, why is it Chopper doing it? Like, is it a medicine, like, on the axe? Like, I don't know. It's interesting that it's Chopper specifically going after this. So that'll be something. I don't know if it'll be, like, an extra power or, like, an item or a medal or something.
That's a good call-out because
everybody else is tied up. That is the one thing that Chopper has over the rest.
You should have tossed him a scalpel or something. Like, come on, dude.
But like story reasons, I'm sure Oda has a reason to throw Chopper into this mix at this specific instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's he's looking at this immortality and not seeing it as just a power, but that there's some sort of physiological difference, and that it's the scientific understanding that he's following. That is really cool.
Yeah, let's think about the others and think if they would really care about that much. I mean, Usopp's too scared. Jinbei's too strategic. Brook,
Zoro would just assume he could cut.
Well, Zoro's not there.
Zoro would just brute force to it. He's like, bullshit, I can't cut through that. Let's just keep trying.
No one else is there. I mean, Nami doesn't care. Nami has other things to worry about. Anyway, so that was Jill, right? Did you have anything else with the chapter?
No, I'm just so excited. Like, my God, what a turn.
Ken.
I've said most of like my piece. The Gunko stuff I think is the most interesting. I still love this chapter overall. I think like the Gunko stuff does take center stage at the end, but everything with Scopper I love. I think Scopper is one of the best characters introduced in a while. I never really liked Rayleigh. I never really got like everyone's like hype around him, but with Scopper, I'm like, to me, it's like if Rayleigh is Cesaro, Scopper is Sanji of like the crew. So I really
think Scopper is a little less problematic than Sanji, I hope. We'll see.
Well, Scopper's just a successful Sanji.
Exactly.
He's got a wife.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the good future Sanji right here.
Well, Sanji is the wife. Anyway, go ahead.
Ben, I'm just picturing you like in Arrested Development saying, I love all of Goldie Rogers' pirates equally, and then 10 minutes before, I never cared for Rayleigh.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I'm saying, yes. But yeah, just seeing Scopper do everything is really cool. Him chopping up Sommers is really cool. I hope the library's okay. I saw like Robin ends up looking at the library, like she wants to save like the books more than anything else. And whether the owl what's his name? Biblo inside.
Yeah,
I saw someone give the idea like he'll shrink the books back down to their smaller size to like stop them from being burned or something like that. I just hope they don't lose the books more than anything else.
I was just gonna say, I think the fact that we were introduced to Biblo and his power makes, besides just like I gotta, this is how this works. I feel like it is setting something up. I don't know what, but I don't think those books are quite gone. Hopefully.
That's what I'm hoping to. Go ahead, Jill.
Sorry, did it say that it only can shrink things, or can it also make them bigger?
It can't. If something was already
big,
big,
it was making it bigger.
Yeah, no,
if it's already big, it can't.
Yeah, he can't take a big item and make it small. He can take a small item and make it big, but then put it back to its original size. But like, if
It
was
has
already,
to be inanimate.
Okay.
Yeah,
it has to be inanimate. And if it was already big, he can't smallify. Like he can only go one way.
That's the scientific term.
Yeah, smallify. Thank you.
Does Brook count as inanimate because he's just bones?
No, he's definitely animated.
How dare
we
you?
have Big Brook.
It said no living things, and he's
But
not
he's
living.
not living. He's dead.
When they do this in the anime, are they all gonna be animate? That's my dad joke. Sorry, apologies. Ken,
And
anything else?
I'm just waiting for the eventual Luffy and Loki to show up. I feel like with Scopper falling down, either they're gonna catch him or Chopper will catch him, and then Monster point up and like grab the branch and like come back up. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know if Monster Point is that big, but
neither do I. But like, I'm just waiting for Luffy and Loki to come in now and intervene. I feel like they're out of options.
the longer they're gone, the more insane the thing that's going to happen when they come back is
Exactly.
going to be. Like, that's the thing, yeah.
And lucky for Scopper Gabon that like giant doctor's down there too, so she and Chopper can help him out.
Yeah, I think Scopper will be
Bodies
just
just keep falling.
fine. As he splats.
What's going on up there?
Mentioning powers, that actually makes me think, going back to Gunko, when she zips along on her arrow, have we seen her use her arrows for transit before?
Yes.
Okay. I can never remember these
And they
things.
made she made the bird out of arrows too that flew them up from the
well,
the lower
that's
level.
right.
That's flying, but like specifically using them like an escalator or whatever to like speed you.
It speeds her up. When she was fighting Loki, she was putting the arrows on herself to make her speed the kicks faster and whatnot.
Because
That's right.
It strikes me that again, to add to the will this character turn good, that at the end of Elbath, there's going to be a shitload of places that our heroes are going to need to get to fast in order to wrap up the end game. And having a character that can make
we have Kuma in the back of the boat still somewhere.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Somebody wake Uncle Kuma.
Yeah, wake up Kuma. Right, they're
like,
waking him up like the kid in the Scared Straight.
Yeah, where is he?
Prison videos.
Where is Kuma? That was never kind of like.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Where is he right now?
That plot was never fully,
The last time we saw him, he was in the boat and Bonnie was sitting on his lap and like, look, Daddy, look at the sunrise.
Yeah, but now Bonnie's
They
off with
stashed him in a
Lilith. What about?
closet. Yeah.
What about Daddy?
She has him on a leash. Just
Yeah, we're talking about dad issues this week.
Oh, no.
What the hell happened to Kuma? Everyone should be asking that.
She just seems like she would be a logistical asset to the end game of One Piece.
Yeah.
Especially because then you clearly understand where the characters are going because it literally draws an arrow.
It's an actual flowchart. Yeah.
Wait,
I think
this
Steve
arrow
made
goes
that
to Laugh
joke,
Tale.
too.
I have such a dumb idea, but if Bonnie if Bonnie makes Brook young, so he has like his flesh back on his body, and that's like Gunko, like that is because right now Gunko doesn't know what Brook looks like as skeleton. She has the memory of,
but he
human
has
Brook.
the afro though. If it works for Laboon, it should work for Gunko.
Chills, right? Once again,
I'm good.
quality.
We can move on.
Steven,
Whales have
thoughts
better
on the
memory.
chapter?
Yeah. Well, I guess since nobody else really singled it out, I'll be the one to say that I was really impressed by the sequence that Oda did between basically centering around Gabon and Colin of setting up the scenario where it's almost like a perfect like philosophical question. It's like Oda's version of like the trolley problem or whatever, where okay, Gunko has him like held hostage. She's got the metaphorical gun pointed right at his head, and Gabon is thinking like, is it possible he is trying to solve the problem in a way where initially he's going to require his son to go through pain in order for this to be able to be solved. And that's why, he's like, okay, you're a big, strong boy. Like, you can survive this. You can handle this. I'll make sure you survive. And he goes through it. And then, of course, we have the flashback, which is just augmenting. It is, it is cementing in our minds, like how important this connection is for Gabon, since we never really seen it quite, from this perspective yet, their little family relationship. And then through the hockey vision, realizing no, this is not going to work. And similar to the choice that or the non-choice that Jarl had to make, where he couldn't tell them to abandon the children to save the history. In the same way, Gabon cannot abandon his son to defeat the enemy and solve the larger problem, because it's just not something that he can abandon. And then the mirroring or kind of tracing over the yielding scene that he did with Luffy and Zoro, I thought was a nice touch, where he drops the axe and holds up his hand. And so he has to make that choice. So I think it's just a very elegant way for Oda to explain how he has set up this scenario where, even though the giants are supposed to be so strong and Elbaf is so key to everything, and it seems like we've figured everything out with all the books, and the library is back, and Robin's struggles have been redeemed and everything. This is how that situation can still be twisted and turned to the worse by exploiting the human connections that these characters have to family and to kin and stuff like that. And so I thought that was just a really elegant way for Oda to wrap all that up in a sequence of a couple pages. And I thought that was very, just a really good strengthening of character as on top of all of that. So I was very, very impressed. And then, of course, you follow that with the mind-blowing last page, and great chapter overall.
I hear that. I am going to push back with one thing, which is, I think, Elbaf has been capitalizing on these lovable Moppets being in danger, and I think there is an error in Oda's calculation, which is, I don't care about these kids one bit, but that library makes Robin cry. And I love Robin. I've spent a long time loving Robin. And so at this point, I'm like, yeah, no, jump, kids. Sorry, but if Robin cries one more time in her
no
life,
trolley problem
I'm taking
here.
everyone down, and so I don't know. Like, obviously,
I'm going to get you back to be invested in these children. Nami would cry by seeing these children die. Is this a Nami versus Robin situation for you, or empathy?
Robin probably also a little sad about the children. Probably
Ripley probably wouldn't be happy about that.
Ripley would cry. Hot teacher is going to cry.
That's true. That's true.
Hot teachers can cry.
Teacher. I don't know.
Sorry,
but
the
all
Millhouse
that's to
scene
say
with
is that I just want the drama in Elbaf to stop being about, or to refocus away from the worries of these new characters and return to the emotional lives of our existing characters. Because when you have a moment like Robin reuniting with Jaguar, it's really, 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 really powerful. And so then to ask me, all right, but what about the drama of this little kid? It's like, sure.
I think Oda is doing that narratively on purpose. I think so. Okay, as a parent, you are going to automatically want to side with the idea that the children should not be hurt. I think is there's a base level of that. But as a reader of One Piece, you are like, fuck, they cannot let that library burn for so many damn reasons. And I think that is what Oda is trying to get the reader to feel in that uncomfortable position. It's the trolley problem thing.
Right.
I think that Steven said. And I think the fact that they kind of are distant helps the reader kind of feel like, oh no, what do I do in this situation? When I put myself here. But there's no human being, if they were really in this situation, who would pick the library over the children. There's some human beings, but
I understand David's point. To invent a group of adorable Moppets to put in danger, it is kind of cheap heat on Oda's part. He is inventing
we already had Punk Hazard.
Yeah, he's inventing
the most, really the Holy Knights that are fucked.
The emotionally manipulative way to to put the screws to people. But
it's I guess my argument would be like, why wasn't there any way to invest, say, one of the Straw Hats in this danger directly, where we already have the existing emotional relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did with for Robin on the library end. You're right.
Yeah.
But to me, the way I've read it is it's supposed to make the reader like put them into that trolley problem. That's just me. I don't know. I get it though.
No, and like I hear that, but like coming at this from a video game designer perspective, like if you have a quest where you have to escort a sad child from one end of a, if you were playing a video game where, imagine you're playing Resident Evil 4 and Ashley keeps complaining at you because she's getting in danger. At a certain point, you're like, well, screw you, Ashley. You're just bits and bots. And I guess that's where it's hitting me right now, is that like the time and effort hasn't been invested for me to really care about these characters. And it's not that I don't like them. Like, I think that the kids are cute. I like Scopper. It's not, maybe I'm overstating. It's more that there have been a lot of pages spent on these children walking in a straight line. And I kind of wish that we would get on with other things.
Well, here is the explanation. I think I'm going to put myself in Oda's shoes, that the people of Elbaf have to be invested in it as well. If it's one of the Straw Hats, I mean, there might be investment, but not to the same degree. It has to be an Elbafian. Like, look, could it be Saul? Yeah, I guess. I mean, Saul has been going through it anyway.
He's dead.
He is not yet. But he might have bigger plans for Saul, too.
Once you're dead, you can't come back.
Only if you're a man.
Life once lost.
Unless you're Brooke.
Hey. Yeah.
But I get it. Well, like I've been saying for the last few episodes of the show, at least that I've been on, that the problem with most of the post-time skip material is that the Straw Hats are never the focus. So I am coming at this discussion with the exact same concerns about how Oda approaches storytelling in this era. However, I think Elbaf has gone above and beyond in a way that we haven't seen in a very long time to make the Straw Hats the focus. And even the things that don't involve the Straw Hats tangentially involve the Straw Hats, which is not the case with a lot of previous arcs, including Wano. So look, is it perfect on that end? No, I don't think so. But it is a huge improvement in my point of view to make the Straw Hats, again, if not the focus, at least like, look, the stuff with Chopper, the stuff with Frankie and Ripley and their little adventure. Like, we have seen stuff from Straw Hats that we have not seen much from.
Can I interject for just one little thing?
Yes.
I think Oda has been doing a good job like building up the kids, because at first it was 10 nameless kids. Then it's okay, 10 nameless kids. Then they gave names to the kids and like, oh, this is so-and-so's daughter. Like, all right, now they have names. Now we know who they are. Still didn't care that much. Then you throw Colin in the mix, which Colin's the only kid that I really cared about at this point. Like, all right, now you have 10 kids who are all pacifists. You have Colin, the one we know, who actually wants to fight and is actually kind of brave. And now they're all set up to die or be kidnapped at this point. And then you're going to have Luffy come in as Nika and save the kids, be the god of Elbaf that they'll like. I feel like it's a very gradual setup to what we know is going to happen. I think it's going to look really good on Luffy's resume if he as the god of Elbaf comes in as Nika, saves the kids. All the giants were fighting about what Nika really is. Like, oh, Nika's good, Nika's bad. He's the beginning, he's the end. If you have Luffy come in, save the next generation of Elbaf, the kids. Like, it's all, again, I don't want to say it's cliche or tropey, but I can see the building blocks if that's the path that Oda chooses to go. And I don't hate it, because at the end of the day, the Straw Hats are invested in these kids. We're invested in these kids as the readers. Right.
And Greg, I think Greg mentioned something about, like, sorry, Ken.
No, you're good.
About like the kids we see in One Piece being that like next generation, and how that's a very important storyline throughout One Piece. And I think Oda writes children much better than, let's say, Toei. And
True.
Yeah, and like we had a lot of Wano children that were really well rounded, Tama, Toko, and who we were invested with because they were like children seeing the world through, and because the Straw Hats were invested in them, and that's how I feel about these 10 personally.
Oda loves putting in kids to show like the future of a nation. I mean,
stakes.
Fishman
Yeah,
Island,
exactly.
Punk Hazard,
Yeah.
Momo, Tama, like every single one of
because
them.
this
He
is-
loves kids, and Luffy
It's a
connects
comic
with
for
children.
kids. It's
Yeah.
like let's bring it all back.
He loves children, history, troops.
Fame, power.
Oh, what did you say? Is that what it was?
Yeah, Oda loves
Troops.
right. Oda loves creating the child characters, not just for those reasons, but most explicitly of all to show Toei how it's done.
Yes.
that is the most reason that he needs.
I am pretty sure Oda probably still has some resentment about a piece somewhere. And I know that Greg has mentioned a lot how the dragons in that arc, were used very prematurely. I bet you Oda secretly really is pissed about that. He didn't have a say in that or whatever. Anyway, Stephen, did you have anything else that you want to say about the chapter?
No.
Yeah. I want to say, I mean, we kind of discussed it just now, but in my parental role, like Scopper Gabon is so relatable in his just righteous indignation here at Gunko in particular. What a trolley problem. It's like the entire nation versus your child. I mean, like, I would also make the same decision. But like at the same time, as the reader, this is what I was saying before, you're like, fuck, no, we need the books. Like, I get it. But like, yeah, if I have to put myself in Scopper's shoes, especially with that flashback, like giving it extra, like, oh geez, Ripley, and everyone else. But like, it's really, I think he did like a brilliant job. I think without the last 2 pages, this chapter would have been one of my favorites, if not my favorite of this arc so far, certainly emotionally. It just
100%.
read super well, just as like an emotional story about Scopper, from start to that to where he falls off the cliff. And then the last 2 pages are just like icing on the cake, I think, or more setup for probably next week. I'm going to leave it there since we talked about that chapter for like 2 hours. We'll get into some piece together and round off right after. Oh, we also have an anime recap, double anime recap, more dad problems, more daddy stuff that'll make us sad. Right after this break.
This is the double anime recap for episodes 1129 and 1130. I'm your host, Sam, and today with me we have the incomparable Ken O'Connor.
Oh, you're too kind, Sam. You're too kind. Good to be back.
On opposite day.
All right. I'll see you next March.
Okay, so we got it's the 2 of us today. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I haven't been on since the hiatus for the anime recap, so this is exciting.
And we have 2 very emotional episodes to get through.
Yes, we do. I don't know if we can do this, but we're going to try our best.
Yeah, I was reading One Piece at like an arm's distance in the manga, I think, at this time. Like I was sort of had other things on my mind. So this is gonna be like a refresher of like what the Kuma flashback is all about for me. Okay.
Yeah.
First up, 1129. Kuma's past. Better off dead in this world. Great start. We come back after the break, and Bonnie has just stabbed Saint J. Garcia Saturn in the bloody beard. And Vice Admiral Doberman is giving orders to Marines all over the island that everybody other than admirals and vice admirals should evacuate. And Doberman takes the opportunity to moonwalk onto the island himself. He's like, uh-oh, my boss is mad. I better be here.
The animation was kind of jumpy there. Just going badoop, 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 like floating over to the island, but it was good.
So Saint Saturn starts to charge his laser beam, his eye lasers, and he shoots at Bonnie to like get her off of him, and then like when she's falling, he like grabs her out of the air. And then Sanji goes running for her because of course, and then he gets immediately knocked back by a laser. Saturn's looking around the area. He sees Kizaru laying on his back, hand on face, ashamed, like, yeah, sorry, boss. I'm not going to be moving anytime soon. And also Luffy, grayed out, exhausted from Gear 5. Luffy is also on the ground, and Saturn goes to stab him, but then Frankie jumps in with a strong right to punch Luffy out of the way.
He makes a great comment too, like, "Oh, so you're pirates who actually like cooperate with each other and help each other out." He has such a low view of pirates.
Yeah. He's like, "Who should I exterminate first? Name them in the order of who you will grieve, least to most, because I want you to die regretting your rebellion against the world government."
As if they actually have a
vindictive list. Yeah, imagine giving him the list.
All right, so we got Bonnie first, and then you can do Vegapunk. We just met him.
Give us 10 minutes to like write this down.
It's like a group project.
And then Saturn, he's got Bonnie in his grip. He's just squeezing his fist and crushing her bones. And Bonnie says something to the effect of, "You killed my father, prepare to die." And Saturn's like, Kuma, the sole survivor of the Buccaneer people.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we get this memory that Bonnie's having of herself as a child, and Kuma cheering her up, doing the like a Nika themed dance.
This animation just stood out and was so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so let's see here. I did get this name. It's Aoume Mime, and I guess they animated it entirely with colored pencils.
Oh wow, that's incredible. It looks beautiful.
It looks beautiful. The little rhythmic like da 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 da, and they're all they're basically just silhouettes more or less. But still a just beautiful image. And then this is the beginning of Kuma's flashback. Him being born in a church to a loving mother and father. We get the baby's point of view, seeing his little tiny hand resting in theirs.
Well, it's funny. His little hand into his mom's looks, all right, his hand's pretty big for a baby. And then the dad's hand comes on top of both their hands. I'm like, oh, okay, large family.
And then the dad's like sneaking out back, like to follow the doctor, be like, "Oh, hey, thanks a lot, doc, but X-nay on the Buccaneer Bay." And the doctor's like, "Oh, don't worry, you're good." And that brings us to the eye catch of this episode, and we got some new eye catches for this flashback.
Oh, right,
cute little like Bonnie and Kuma ones.
Yeah, they're eating like pizza and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah, very cute.
And then we jump ahead to 4 years later. So Kuma is now 4 years old. That same doctor bursts into the church is their home. I'm guessing. And the doctor busts in crying like, "Oh, I'm sorry, the government that came. I told them." And I guess Kuma's dad's name is Clapp.
Yes.
CLAPP.
Correct.
And then so some Cypher Pol agents arrive and round him up. Got the Buccaneer ICE, Buccaneer Gestapo. Clapp is begging for his wife and child to be spared. He's like, "I'm the only one with Buccaneer blood." But
is he saying,
obviously there's
is he saying like he has pure Buccaneer blood? Like, oh, Kuma's only because Kuma's mom is human, so I guess he's half Buccaneer blood.
Mom is not Mom is not Buccaneer. I kind of read it as like please don't just don't think too hard about what my child would be.
Yeah.
And they fast forward, and little baby 4-year-old Kuma, ever the optimist, is just kind of smiling and playing with his new chains on his arms.
Oh,
Then the camera like pulls out, and we see like his beat up dad in like the family group shot.
I was posted this in our Discord a while last week when this aired. The chains bothered me because I don't remember being like this in the manga, but the collar around Clap in particular, it looks like he can just lift it off his head. It's not constraining his neck because it can't go past his shoulders. So there's nothing keeping the collar around his neck, and I don't remember being that way in the manga. Like I remember, at least I never noticed it. Did that look weird to you?
I feel like I've thought about it in the manga, but like it's just one of those things. Like I just kind of, it's not something I think about too hard.
Yeah, it's a nothing at the end of the day. Just it looked really awkward.
Well, I don't know. Is the chain that connects to his like wrists, like, is that like a very short chain?
Okay. You think that could be okay? I could see. What you mean.
Yeah, like maybe it's not actually. Maybe there isn't enough like give on the chain to actually like take it off, or
gotcha.
Or maybe it's is it the bomb collar? Do they have the bomb collars yet?
I would assume
like,
so. Yeah.
If it comes off, it blows up.
Yeah. It's
little...
funny that it's just resting there and not actually doing its job. I feel like.
Yeah. And then another day we see the mom being taken away. She's like, well, she's not a Buccaneer, so she doesn't have to stay with the Buccaneer. She'll suffer some other fate. Kuma's becoming a child laborer, carrying boxes, being whipped as a slave. Eventually reunites with his dad. And his dad's like, "Oh, hey, Kuma, how's it going?" And Kuma, despite the fact that it's clearly like an awful experience, Kuma's like, "Oh, it's not so bad. My master's very kind.
Yeah,
he only whips me a little bit. Well, I mean, he whips me a lot, but he could whip me more. You know?
It's a soft whip."
And Kuma asks about his mother. Yeah, this part's fucking crazy. Of like his dad being like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, she died. She should be in heaven now. I think." Like there's the pained look on his face as he's saying, like, I think she's better off this way. I think it's a better experience than living in this world right now. Like is the basically what he's saying.
It's brutal. All the close shots of Kuma's face reacting in this episode and next are just the most heartbreaking things ever. As things are being told to him, it's really just so sad.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's really interesting how, like, Kuma's thing is like he seems very naive and just kind of willing to accept his circumstances and willing to see the good side of things, and like you kind of like halfway expect him to hear what his dad's saying and be like, "Oh, okay," but like no, he's immediately into ugly cry, screaming, just. This is not going over well with him at all. He's feeling all of the emotions.
Yeah.
Another day, Dad is telling him stories about Nika. He's doing the dance that the color pencil Kuma was doing for Banya a few minutes ago. It's like, oh, the great sun god Nika is going to save all the slaves, and da 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 da. And like. Kuma seems very entertained by this, and we get the little like insert close up of the celestial dragon readying the gun. And you're like, oh, what's going on? And then like it pulls that ripcord like way harder than I thought it was going to. Where like like mid dance, like, and then like the slow mo blood, and then like the Zack Snyder like ramp up on the blood to splat on Kuma's face.
And he's just like there, like mouth open, the tooth missing. And then just covered in blood. I'm like, oh my god, that's probably the most brutal thing they've ever done. I think.
Nasty. Like I'm just like I just have to imagine like what is it like? What's it like to be the person responsible for like timing that out? Like you got to find the exact frame where the slow mo ending is the most like guttural, like ugh feeling.
Yeah, just a couple frames and it's so effective.
And then so we move ahead. Now in the timeline we are We're 38 years ago from the present day. We're in West Blue God Valley. Surprised that God Valley is a West Blue thing. And the Celestial Dragons, I guess, are planning to hold a customary human hunt on this island. It's unaffiliated with the world government, but it has lots of resources that they want. So they're going to hold these games to demoralize the locals and claim it as theirs. And the king of this country is like, hold on, I kind of have a problem with this. And then immediately, you get slain by a knight, a young saint, Figurland Garling, looking an awful lot like a
banana,
like a banana, a blonde Shanks with worse hair.
Yep.
And because he preemptively killed somebody, he's getting negative 10,000 points. But he's like, oh, all right, I'll take the handicap. It'll make the game more interesting. This is how bloodthirsty he is. And Kuma is one of the targets of this game. He's one of the sacrificial lambs, the imported slaves to I guess make more of a game out of the game. And he's like running,
literally with like Target on their backs. See, they're wearing shirts with targets.
Yeah, literal targets. Yeah. He's running into like an open grass field, just finding a place to cry in. And we recognize this as the scene that Bonnie entered his memories in earlier when she went into the paw bubble. And this is when the people show up with clubs and they start to beat him. And Kuma's just like, just kill me. I don't even want to get out of this. I don't want to go back. I'll just die there too. And then we get a familiar hee-haw. And we look up. We get a young child, Emporio Ivankov, and a mysterious pink-haired girl child next to him. And this is Ivankov and Ginny. And Ivankov's basically talking to Kuma, like, are you the main feature of the event, Buccaneer boy? Do you want to die? Do you want to live? Follow us. I choose life. How about you? Dun dun dun. Dramatic. To be continued.
Love it. It's great too because Kuma's completely knocked out, and then as Ivankov speaks a little bit, his eyes like regain the color and like the pupils. He looks up and he's like, "This is like it's his fighting spirit. It's like charging him up. It's great."
Yeah, it's a new opportunity, a new chance to live. Then the next episode is episode 1030, A History Erased, God Valley of Despair. And this episode has a cold open before its title card. We have recapping Kuma's childhood experiences to this point. His being born, his memory of his parents, memory of his dad begging for their lives, memory of hearing about his mom. Being whipped, being told about Nika, running away from the hunters, and now Eva and Ginny. The people are running for their lives with literal targets on the back. They're being released onto the island to start the game. There's 13 super rare rabbits, as the people are called in the manhunt. The super rares are worth 10,000 points. 150 rare rabbits, and there's a special prize waiting for the winner, or prizes.
Yeah, bunch of treasure chests.
Old Saint Saturn is also present and just sort of watching from a cliff, from a big like DBZ style cliff. Goku versus Vegeta fight.
Yeah.
looking mountain. And the Celestial Dragon, who's like being like kind of the announcer for the games, he's got a big slobbery mouth as he's explaining how the game works for everybody. And then Marine HQ, we've got what I assume right now is Fleet Admiral Kong.
Yes.
Talking to a young Garp on the phone. And Garp's voice is very different. Like they are going for a new performance for his younger self. Even though it's supposed to be like a younger voice, it still sounds like it's like an older guy doing it.
Yeah, it sounds like that kind of like gruffness to it.
But it doesn't really sound like Garp at all to me. It's like a very different voice.
Yeah, well, I think this is the youngest we've seen him too, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. And Kong wants Garp to head out to God Valley because basically the treasures in question were stolen from Pirate Island, Full of Lead, or Beehive, or whatever translation we're using today. And Garp's like, I don't know, I don't really want to go there. And then he rises to attention the second that Roger's name is mentioned as a potential.
Why didn't you start
somebody.
with that?
Yeah. And back on the island, Ivankov is explaining to the little group of slaves that have huddled together, like, oh, the population on this island is being exterminated for natural resources, and in the hunts, we're seeing like celestial dragons riding like war ducks, like supersonic ducks, but with like war armor on, and like they're throwing grenades and stuff. And Ivankov says, "Stop dreaming about surviving the game. We have to escape the game itself." We're getting updates about the process of the game. Garling has already gotten 100,000 points. He's back up out of the hole. And some women from Marijoa are watching this unfold and squealing because he's a handsome man.
It felt like the Hunger Games, the way it was being broadcasted, and like the points, and like
it's
they expanded a lot more on this than it was in the manga, which was interesting to see.
Yeah, Hunger Games, or like the world's with most dangerous game.
Yep.
And Ivankov gets one of there's like a shark fishman slave who's able to bite his chains off, but like all the other everyone else like keeps their chains on. They're not like super quick to get everybody unchained.
No, they're not.
But the shark guy is flattered to be useful and to be complimented by Ivankov.
Oh yeah, he's never received a compliment in his entire life. That was his first one.
And we got adorable little Ginny being an interceptor for like information and like listening in on transponder snails and whatnot.
I loved this, seeing her actually get to like work and communicate.
I'm loving her voice actress. I think she's doing a wonderful job. She says she's gathered that among the prizes for the game are a devil fruit that turns you into a azure dragon, and another fruit that gives you paws. So we're thinking right now, where we've got our thinking caps are on. And Ginny also says that she leaked information to the outside world, hoping to entice pirates to come and raid it, and they can find an escape in the mayhem. But in order for that to work, they're going to need somebody to be a decoy, and they look really sullen at the idea of having to throw somebody to the wolves, in a sense. But Kuma volunteers. He's like, "I'm big. I think I can survive longer than others." And we're seeing his resolve to help people. We get an eye catch. We come back from the eye catch with the Rocks Pirates arriving, and this is a very exciting, fun scene. We get young blonde Fabio Whitebeard. We get a young. This is the OG Stussy, Buckingham Stussy.
Mm-hmm.
Just chilling out on Whitebeard's shoulder. You can tell she's kind of orbiting him,
vibing on him.
Young Gloriosa of the Kuja clan. Shiki, this is it's cool seeing Shiki get like actual like lines of dialogue and just being like a central character here.
Is it the same voice actor from the movie, or?
I think so. It sounded what I expected.
Okay,
he gets a G-ha-ha in.
Yeah, it sounded good, but I didn't check.
Linlin and Kaido. I think it's crazy that all these guys are on one crew, but an alcoholic who we can ascertain is Captain John, whose corpse is chilling out on Thriller Bark. And then another big armor guy who also looks like one of the zombies on Thriller Bark.
They left out one character though that was in the manga. Did you notice? Or
there is that one guy with like the sunglasses. He kind of almost looks like a Cypherpole agent.
That, but they left out a named character.
But they left out a named character.
Yeah, who's in the manga. I went back and checked the panel because I'm like, there's someone missing here.
Who's missing?
Strusen.
Oh,
Strusen's
okay.
in that big spread of the panel where they were all introduced, and he wasn't even in like when they're doing like the paneling sequence. He wasn't included at all in the episode. I was very surprised. I wonder if they just didn't see him, but
yeah. So and they're all bickering amongst each other, and they're getting their little moments to get kind of like locked into these building comic panels. So we can get like the full, shot of them all together. On another shore, the Roger pirates are appearing. Yeah, young Roger, Rayleigh, and Gabon. I think Roger also has a different voice for his younger version, but Rayleigh does not.
Okay.
I saw a funny joke on Twitter. Somebody's like, "Why does Roger's Jolly Roger have a mustache before he even grew one?"
That's a good question.
I mean, like, it's not impossible that he like had a mustache and then like just shaved it recently and will grow back, but
he's like, I feel foolish.
I don't know.
Now.
Like, it's funny. It's funny that that's just like already part of his identity.
That's great.
Mustache. And then also Garp's crew arrive, and they're also jumping into action. So we don't see them. We don't see these three groups interacting much, but we're prepared for something like that.
It's more implied action than anything else.
Yeah. And Kuma and Ivankov are like sneaking around in the mayhem. They've got shoulders full of treasure chests, and they find some back room and they open the chests and they see the devil fruits. We see Kuma's pink pawpaw fruit with the little like toe bubbles at the top. Ivankov's has the blue dragon scales, and then just in time, Charlotte Linlin crashes in through the wall and just like palms Ivankov's face and takes the dragon fruit for herself. And we know later she's going to give that to Kaido. And then Kuma's like running to escape, and at Ivankov's request, he's eating the fruit already. But then he gets knocked down. He gets shot by a red Saint Saturn laser. And Kuma's like kind of on his knees, kind of head low, like, I think it's strange that some people are born to be important. I want to help people. And Saturn's like, and that's why your kind must be wiped out. And then it just fades to black. And then we fade into everyone's off the island.
Yeah.
We're spared thinking about too much about how they got off of that.
He apparently saved 500 people though. Like,
yeah, he saved 500 people. He found himself a new church house, and he's praying for all the people he could have saved but didn't manage to. And Ivankov is deciding to set sail and enjoy his freedom, and Ginny and Kuma stay behind. Ginny's like, I'm just gonna figure out what I want to do with my life for a little bit here. I'm just gonna
chill with
what
Kuma.
Do you call it when
chill with Kuma.
Yeah, what do you call it when you don't go to college right away?
Soul searching gap year.
Gap year. Yeah, I'm taking a gap year. And Ginny suddenly gets serious. She's like, her nostrils flare up, and she's like, since I'm 4 years older than you, I have to feed you. And she said that like just as I'm like wondering, like, what are their ages at this point? They're both kids, but Kuma's like 6 times her size, maybe.
Yeah, he's a giant compared to her.
And so they work to build a life together. Kuma really excels at the wood chopping and the carrying heavy stuff. And they seem like they've got a good thing going. They're chopping wood, they're selling wood, they're setting up shop, getting comfortable, and some local scamps, some children, during one sunset, come into their walking path and start, I guess, making fun of Kuma. Like, how old are you? And Kuma's like, I'm 9, and like just in disbelief that somebody
There's
as
no
big as him
way.
could be 9. And so then their natural response is to start throwing rocks at him.
As kids do.
And then Ginny beats them up, and now they're the ones hurting. And then Kuma, he's got his paw powers, he's got his paw pad hands, and he pushes the pain out of them because he's such a nice guy. Even though they were throwing rocks at him a moment ago.
It was cool seeing the animation of the bumps on their head disappearing, being replaced by the paws.
Mm-hmm. And then one night they're at home, and Ginny's asking Kuma, like, "Hey, when did you become a slave?" And then Kuma's like thinking about it. He's like, "Oh, I was 4." And Ginny's like, "Oh, I too was made a slave at 4 years old." But she says it with like a big smile, and Kuma's like, "That's not something to say so happily."
This is when I lost it. This entire last sequence, as they're talking, and then Kuma gets
and Ginny starts to cry, even though she looked happy a moment ago. And Kuma's having all these memories of his parents and sort of making comparisons between his mom and dad and himself and Ginny. And Kuma starts to have sympathy cries with her. And we pan up to the moon with Ginny's voice saying, "I'm so happy."
Yeah. Just really sad, really well animated. It just expanded upon everything from the flashback, because the flashback goes fast in the manga, and they took their time over these 2 episodes, really like expand upon things, give everything like a moment to breathe here and there. It's just really sad. And the end of the that last episode, I almost equate to almost like Ghibli animation, when like his bottom lip goes up and starts quivering and turns into a big cry, and I just lost it at that point.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of like even though there's not a lot of like crazy animation sequences, there's a lot of time, especially in this second episode, where the characters are drawn with a slight squiggliness to them.
Yeah.
Like it looks like somebody just did like kind of one quick draft with a pen. And I thought that looked really nice. And yeah, like like thinking about One Piece as a very like life affirming story. It's about the highs and lows of being alive, and this twists the knife in some pretty interesting ways with Kuma's parents, especially, and just sort of like the pain and the relief and the guilt and the carrying that trauma with you forever, but finding happiness despite that. Like that's all really, really potent here.
Yeah. Just having him imagine his life with his parents, and like, oh, if it wasn't me and Ginny, it'd be me, my mom and dad. And then like it slowly replaces that imagery with Ginny, and then he realizes like what he has now. It's so well done. They knocked out the park with this.
Yeah, I feel like this flashback does a good job of like really going some ugly places with not just like the subject matter of like what's like literally happening to them, but with like how just how dark, how like if I was in Kuma's shoes, I would probably handle it a lot worse than he did. And but then also in other areas, you certain things are completely left to the imagination. Like you really don't know what happens to his mom, but it can't be good.
Yeah.
Maybe she maybe, did she get off easy by whatever happened to her compared to like what happened to him and his dad?
Clap
we don't
is-
know. We like it's like no version of that story that your mind can make up is exactly a happy one.
Yeah. Clap is just trying so hard just to like, she's in a better place now. That's all you got to worry about. You just got to keep going forward.
That feeling of like keeping up that high spirits or keeping up the optimism, like not like even when it's as hard as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing you're committed to as a choice because it's like you got the people to take care of. Yeah, I think it handled that stuff quite phenomenally, and like you get the thing that you always want to have happen when you're watching an anime, like all this stuff is happening, and then you get like the opening intro song and the ending song. And they're sort of like these little reminders of like, oh yeah, remember this is the story that we're in the middle of. This is where the story is going to be going in a little bit. Like you're just kind of sitting with a lot of different complex emotions.
Yeah.
As you're holding all these moments in time in your head. Yeah.
Good
I
stuff.
thought these were
Good
really good episodes. Really, I'm interested to really sit down and pay attention to the Kuma flashback this time because
the fact they're taking their time with it too. Again, they're really letting moments breathe and expand. Where I feel like the beginning of the Kuma flashback was so fast paced, and this I think just handled the pacing phenomenally.
Yep, I didn't have any complaints there. I think we're in good hands here.
Yep, agreed.
Any lingering thoughts you want to add on, Ken, before we move on to the next segment?
No, I think I'm good. Just really, really powerful, sad, emotional stuff, and it's exactly how I imagined it when I read the manga. So, good job.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much, Ken. I hope we can have you onto the anime recap more often.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's move on.
Culture, history, children, troops. This is the piece together segment. No, that doesn't really completely work, but whatever, I don't care. What's our first segment? Ken, you get to do it.
Which one are we doing?
Yeah, the only one.
Dispiece.
It's time for Dispiece. I'll read them unless someone else wants to. I probably should have gone through this to begin with.
Do you want me to read them or?
Oh, yeah, Ken, if you have them open, go for it.
Yeah, I got it open.
It starts with Sailor Karna, I think.
All right. Sailor Karna, hey OPP, wow, this chapter was great. It has my brain coming up with a lot of theories, like the owl in the library. I wonder if it's able to make the fire inside small, since it can manipulate the size of objects within. Anywho, have a great weekend and enjoy the holiday. Oh, thank you, Sailor Karna.
So is fire inanimate?
Yeah, well,
it's a plasma.
I mean, yeah. If Oda draws it, is it animate?
Ooh, that should be. That's it. That's
well, Ace is dead, so that's pretty inanimate.
Biblo turns I can't move anything that Oda draws. Only the assistants.
To be fair, we already have Gunko with like a fourth wall power here. Why not Biblo as well? What's next?
Okay. Next up we have. So this is your stick mother. Or this is your sick mother.
Not my stick mother.
Here's a Yamato-related question to make up for the lack of cover story this week. Enjoy. Thank you. Hey OPP, if One Piece was a Yuri anime with all the female characters attending an all-girls school, and Yamato was the prince of the school, who was the popular with all the girls, who would be a part of the group of admirers kissing up to him, and who would end up at the end of the series, excluding Nami, Robin, and Vivi, since they would have their own storylines, and maybe Lilith if Oda is overshadowing her joining the crew by including her in the color spread. Also, this is a hypothetical scenario where all the characters are meeting each other for the first time, so Yamato would not have had to interact with any of the women in the story for them to be a part of the group of his group of admirers.
This is a very
That's a
elaborate
very-
scenario.
Is this
Hiyori
like
would
an
have
Ouran
daddy
High
issues.
School host club thing? Is that what's
Wait,
going
wait, Jill, what'd you say?
Sorry.
Hiyori would have daddy issues, so therefore would be into Yamato.
Yeah, I feel like Hiyori is the first.
Also, it can't be Yuri if Yamato's there. That's not how it
Yeah,
works.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say I love a Prince character in a Yuri. In Monday Tawawa, the Prince character is my favorite one. Jesus, I just admitted that out loud. I would argue for maybe Koala, who seems to tag on to strong guys.
True.
All right. Okay, next up we have Straw Hat Pirate 9. Wow. Leave it to Oda to pull the rug out from under me once again. So Gunko is still probably not a revolutionary undercover, but something is certainly going on. How does she know Brooke? Why the hell is she with the Knights? What exactly did they do to her? Oh my god, what will this reveal of Brooke's past? As a Brooke fan, I am extremely excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait
We've had
for... Go ahead, Steve.
There's been so many like Brooke backstory like fake outs in the last several arcs that
Zoe is the one that
There's so many like one-liners.
Right. So many like pregnant pauses where Brooke is like not saying something.
No one's gonna ask me about this?
It's like, yeah. Like
Brooke's like, I have the knowledge of the world 90 years ago and no one's gonna
Right.
tap this resource. Yo.
Yeah.
if you could somehow like tell this story in a way that actually like helps explain some of those, like that would be just amazing in my mind.
I will say
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
As a Brooke fan, I'm going out of my skull. Joke.
I'm also a Brooke fan, but I know Brooke usually ranks. I'm just ignoring it. So Brooke, no, it is
as you do with Brooke.
as you do with Brooke jokes. Yeah,
And this is why we haven't gotten any of his backstory.
but Brooke has often ranked like lower, I think, on people's for whatever reason. I think mostly just that we haven't gotten a lot from him. I think we've gotten more in recent years. So, yeah, Whole Cake Island, I guess, it was had some real standout moments for him.
I'm gonna be super real with you. The thing I want most out of Brooke in One Piece is for more people to react to the fact that he's Soul King. It's like there's just like a bunch of pirates, then all of a sudden fucking Justin Bieber is all the group. Like,
Justin
are people
Bieber,
like,
yes.
what the hell is
I was
this?
thinking about this, and it's kind of like if you were a fan of Iron Maiden and then you found out that the zombie makes the music.
Eddie, that's the guy.
Eddie,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
Or
"No,
like,
I thought that was just a graphic.
Or just like the Masked Singer, and then he pulls it off and it's just a skeleton. This is what he looks like.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like when he was
that's-
dressed up as Luffy at the
No,
tea
it's
party.
the Whole
Like the
Cake
Masked
Island. Yeah,
Singer.
when he takes
Oh,
off
that
the.
was amazing.
Wow,
Yeah.
they ripped his face off.
Yeah,
That is one of my favorite jokes in the
Yes.
series.
it's so good.
It
It's
is
so good.
so
that was an
fucking
amazing
good.
chapter.
That chapter, yeah, you're right, was oh my god. That was a Brooke moment. You see, like Brooke has really had some amazing moments, and people forget.
True.
That's really what the problem is.
Well,
What's next?
I think
right.
he'll do just spine coming out of this.
Okay, we're done.
Boo.
I missed you, David. All right, next up we got Felix
I'm
Cutler. Felix Cutler saying, it's been a while, so Emu can possess people. Is it just women/dead people, or people with the mark of the abyss? So is this the reason why Emu is interested in Vivi, and so he can possess her? This was an amazing chapter. I still don't know what to make of the arc, but I'm loving it? ? Where do you guys think the arc is headed to?
Wait, did they just say Emu can only possess women/dead
They said,
people?
yeah, so what?
Same
That's getting messed
thing.
up.
No, it's One Piece.
It's
Same
it's
thing.
Oda.
It's
Dead
moms.
moms, I think, is where to go with.
Moms chill. Yeah, that's.
What if Oda's just like at the end of it, there's a reason. Like Emu specifically hates mothers and is like set out to kill all
Mothers
these
are
moms.
the
Oh, and that's why all the
adventure.
moms have died over.
Yes,
yeah.
it's like a whole actual meta reason.
Can you
Whoa.
imagine Oda watching the Beetlejuice musical and getting to the song "Dead Mom"?
Dead mom. he just gets up and starts applauding.
You-
Hey,
Listen, there
Mom,
hasn't
dead
many
mom.
dads have come back to life in One Piece, but not a single mother will
Is that true?
ever.
I mean, Tadon's
Well,
alive.
I don't know. Yeah, but she never like fake out died.
Yet.
Did she not?
I mean,
Ever? Not even a fake
God.
out?
But can you imagine how
in
hard
the
will
fire
pop if
days,
Bellamere
but-
does show up one day?
she was in prison the
I
whole
was in it.
time.
Sorry, I was in the dungeon for the rest of my days. Well, my
They
days are
dyed
over
her
now.
hair purple.
I got better, bitches.
Wow, your hair grew out,
Oh.
except in this. Anyway, go ahead, Ken.
All right. Next up, we have this is quite a name. XX_DilfFan351_XX. And then
Daddy
parentheses-
issues.
And then
Damn.
parentheses cram.
It's related to the podcast I think we did a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. Yes.
Ahoy OPP, banger chapter as always. Brooks a DILF? That explained why he vaguely recognized Gunko and why she enjoys his music. What an absurd and wild twist. I can't wait to see where this goes. I wonder if the kingdom he used to work for was part of the world government with close ties to the Holy Knights. What do you think the kingdom was called? Wrong answers only. Have a great week. Less than 3.
Is
Well,
it
I'm
Dill?
sorry. Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to have thrown some cold water on your excitement, but he can still be a skilf.
I was gonna say Bilf.
I was going to say a daddy
Bill.
I'd like to find out more about.
Bones I'd like to fondle, but
Absolutely not. I don't like any of this. Wow, finally,
Steve, draw
Brooke,
that.
the Brooke numbers on AO3 are going up. I see it.
Oh,
I
It's like
mean,
a counter.
Brooke has always had fans. I mean, Fishman Island in that mermaid cafe, those girls were down.
That's
I'm sure
true.
he's got groupies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's
God.
a celebrity.
The dogs on Zoe, yeah. They
Oh,
love
the
him.
dogs on
All
Zoe.
right.
That was a great joke,
The-
too.
The answers you guys are coming up are crazy. They're like some kind of femur dream. Bone joke!
God damn it, dude.
God, these are all awful.
So what's the name? What's,
like
what's
the
name
real
of Brooks
ones.
King, What's the name of Brooks Kingdom he was part of? What's that certain kingdom's name?
Panties Island.
That's why he asks.
Yeah, he's trying to find his way
That's
back.
how
yeah.
he's trying
He's
to
trying
find,
to
he
find his
knows-
home. Yeah, he's trying
Yeah,
to get back home.
they wear a specific kind of panties, and he'll know them when he sees them.
Island.
It was Labubu Island. He
When this
named-
little girl's name is going to turn out to be Laboon, it's going to be
I
incredible.
am going to cry if that's what it is.
It's likely.
All
Like
right.
booty.
What's next, Ken?
Moving on. Rusty verse Rose Patch. I get it. Hey, OPP. I want to possess Gunko's body. Wait, sorry.
Nope.
What I mean is, I want to be Warden. On third thought, I think I have a theory. Chopper is definitely going to figure out how to hurt these holy knights, and with a brain point, maybe he even augmented his scope while he and Lilith were being designated sailors for the party boat. While Bone Gilf Brook tries to remember where he knows this lady from, and Emu burns the world, Anthony Helicopter is going to get another win by figuring
his
out
full
how to.
name.
Oh, Tony, I got it.
Yeah.
Anthony, I was like, who is this? Anthony Helicopter.
His
is going
Christian name.
That's his Christian
Yeah.
name now.
to get another
In the
win
real
by
world, in that new Chopper series, that's his name.
his name is Anthony
Helicopter. Yeah.
He's
That's
going to
the name that the Pope was considering.
Now that's a good one. That
First
is-
of his name.
that's
he's
not
going
a
to win by
skull
figuring
joke.
out how to cure the greatest disease of all, immortality. Which
I would
is
like
cool.
to see the scope
Huh.
come back, because then we'll really have the scoper and scopper,
Oh,
chopper and
God
scopper, whatever
damn
we're
it.
talking about. Yeah,
Chopper
Oh,
and Scopper.
Yeah,
no,
chopper
he's a law.
scopes and scopper.
Scopper and
Chops.
Scoper.
scoper chops. Yeah,
God.
I do think it's kind of interesting to think that Chopper realizing how to harm immortality may lead him to become a better
Ooh.
doctor.
may lead him to find
Like to-
him. Yeah,
to
well,
kill
Yeah, I mean-
God. Yeah,
yeah. Isn't that every doctor's dream?
it's a Japanese.
If you
story,
destroy
yeah.
heaven, is anyone really going to die anymore?
I just like he's actively he wants to I gotta figure this out. Like he's taking initiative. It's not like Chopper,
Yes,
here's
yeah.
a sick child. Make a no. This is Chopper without any other straw hat telling him
He's
kinda,
doctoring. He is
Exactly.
doctoring here. This is real doctoring.
he's Scopperin and doctoring.
Yeah.
God.
All right,
yeah, no,
next up.
I appreciate Chopper, doing something.
Initiative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got a Wisdom Pythagoras. Hey, OPP, been a while. Throwing out my take on the whole Gunko Brook theory. I think Gunko may have been a child from Brook's past that he inspired to join the Kingdom's Royal Guard alongside him. In that flashback in this chapter, Brook doesn't have his cane sword, but instead some sort of saber with the Bell Guard. If you've noticed, Gunko has been making that sort of sword with the arrows over and over again the last few chapters, and mostly been using thrusting attacks with it. In that other panel of her crying, she's wearing what could be a collared jacket with epaulets, which also matches Brooke's silhouette in the other panel. Maybe Gunko is even who renamed Brooke's Requiem Lebendorali? I can't pronounce that. But
I don't know
his Requiem technique to the 3-pace hum notch slash, as mentioned by Brooke to Ryuma. Not sure who her father would be, but I suspect he died when their kingdom was presumably destroyed. Classic. Thanks, OPP.
That's
Remember
good.
also,
I did not. Yeah.
Brooke's also 8 feet tall, so that might be a regular adult human.
That's a normal child.
It's no
There's
child.
so much interesting things here with Brooke that could just be brought up, like the festival illusions that he creates. There could be something in a flashback with that, or like how he got the Humming Brook name. I just think there's so many little things that Oda's going to put in here, probably.
Or his laugh, even. I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm glad they brought up the sword too, because I mentioned that in the panel too. Like, it didn't look like his normal sword; it looked like a kind of a cavalier sword. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And the way she attacks is kind of like Brooke's style.
Yeah.
With the piercing. That's so interesting.
That's true. And also, well, let's also remember with Brooke's laugh, he's the one with the pirate laugh. I don't have anything to say about that. I just want to point it out.
I was also gonna say too, as far as the thing about the shoulders and the epaulettes, is that it might have been Ken, I forget who was talking about the flashback sequence in the panel where she's crying with her father. I thought that the way it was framed made it kind of look, the fact that you can see her shoulders and they're kind of hunched up like that made me think, for some reason, just the way that Oda staged it, it made me think of her like being captured and like kneeling on the ground or something. Like she's clearly incapacitated in some way. She can only watch as, something bad happens to her father. And that was kind of what I thought of, but that's an interesting note as well about, perhaps it was just her wardrobe.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got a Flex Storm. Ahoy, OPP. Another chapter has passed and Luffy hasn't shown up. What do you think is holding him up? Wrong answers only.
He's stuck between 2 buildings.
He's eating.
Loki is holding him up. Loki's going to hold him up to the branch.
Luffy's listening to the Harold flashback. He'll catch up to the Brook flashback in a little bit. All right, and last but not least, we got a Hopkins Hat 15, AOPP, how it be. Never in a million years would I have thought that Elbaf would drop bits of Brook's backstory. If I had to guess, I would say this is one of Oda's ideas that he needed to incorporate into Elbaf because he didn't have time for it anywhere else. What was some of your favorite sequel flashbacks for the Straw Hats? Like how you'll see the main flashback first, and then later you'll see more pieces of it.
I think this is...
I mean, how many times have we had that?
I mean, Sanji's is pretty...
Yeah, that's the one that I thought of, yeah.
Oh, Luffy, technically, kind of?
Yeah, kind of.
True,
because you had Shanks first.
But you know what? This I wonder if this is like a thing that Oda is going to do more of. Like Robin, I guess we don't really need that for her. There's some that we have like comprehensive, pasts, but Zoro.
Yeah, I like Frankie too with his parents. I always thought it would never be important, but because Oda's been doing this, I don't know. Yeah. I think you'd have to do that really well though, because they straight up just abandoned him on an island. Maybe Nami.
Yeah. Well, it's going to turn out that Frankie's
Nami
parents
could have been a princess
were
or something,
clones of the Emperor who were being chased by the assassin Ochi.
Yeah, somehow Nami was there.
Somehow
Frankie from nowhere.
Yeah, Ken.
That was it.
That was it?
That was the last one. Yep.
All right, we're going to round off and do some David backfights, I think.
Yo!
This is... Oh, no, not yet. Not yet.
Jesus.
No, yet. Okay.
Keep the feff out of yourself. Keep the feff out of yourself. No. I said, so we'll do plugs first, and then I will throw it to you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm awake.
No, because you want people to listen through the credits,
You're absolutely right.
It's the post-credit scene. All right, 3, 2. This has been episode 869 of the One Piece podcast for May 26, 2025. Thank you all. Fun episode today. And deep and lots of other things. David, where could the good people find you?
Okay, if we're doing plugs, I actually have a really important plug to go out right now, which is if you go to bit.ly/galactic going rogue, one word. I'm doing the cover art for an ongoing Kickstarter that collects the two great role-playing games based off of Star Wars or inspired by Star Wars, Galactic and Going Rogue. These are really great games. I really believe in this project, and if you can check that out, I would really appreciate it. You can find me on Blue Sky at shoebill.moe. I also, if you like your shonen manga, check out at whalehead.bluesky.social. That's where I have been doing boutique manga translation, which is to say not necessarily the most accurate, but definitely the most interesting that I can manage. I'm slowly working my way through a chapter of Don Dracula by Osamu Tezuka. Before then, I translated the first chapter of Dragon Ball, and
Never
you
heard
can
of it.
even see some of my thoughts going into that. Love it if you would check those out. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And yeah, great to have you back on. Ken.
You can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitch, and pretty much anywhere under KindKing01. That's my name, literally everywhere. Easy to find. Good search engine optimization. Last year, I ran the One Piece Art Collab Volume 2. It was a project where we got hundreds of artists to draw over 800 characters, ranging from post Dressrosa through Elbaf. The collab is now out. It's a free download. It's a big old PDF full of beautiful artwork. If you want to see it, just go to OP Collab on Blue Sky, on the other site, anywhere you can find it. And we are currently posting one piece of art a day on the Blue Sky account. I think the other day we actually posted one of Alex's entries. He did a Jinbei in his Onigashima outfit. So yeah, please check that out.
Jill.
You can find me at Pirates Unluck on Blue Sky and most other social media. And you can find me in Final Fantasy Online on the Ultros server, Pura Unluck. I'm currently on the moon trying to destroy it for all its resources because the rabbits need them for the gambling.
Did I just lose
That's
consciousness for a second there? That's crazy.
No,
Dude, I won the selfie emote in gambling on the moon with the rabbits. I'm so happy. It's pretty much all I needed.
that's an Elbaf spoiler.
No, that's a One Piece spoiler when we get to the moon. Steven.
Yeah, you can follow me on Blue Sky at stephenpaul.bsky.social. And as always, you got One Piece, Akane Banashi on a weekly basis. I actually did, just fun fact, I did turn down that Odor and the Flame series. Like that's the new one with the Big Mommy. And that one I was like, I can't, like, I know people were really into the Riding Hood series that you did before, but I was like, I can't do 3 weekly series. It is just
Ken
too
and David
much.
the same person? I'm looking
We
at
kind
both of
of
them in
are.
different rooms,
Occasionally,
but they're
yeah, I
both
got
pointing
mine
to
right
each
back
other.
over here.
Yeah, now
Okay.
they're both grabbing their manga.
Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
We know what you like.
In addition to the weekly series, I do have Trillion Game every couple of weeks, something like that, and Show 10, which did get announced. I think they said that the next volume in Japan will be the last one, so I believe I calculated that means like 3 more chapters or something like that. So we're almost in the home stretch on that one. If you want to check it out. I do love all of the series that I work on right now, so do check them out because I recommend them all.
I will always sing the praises of Akane Banashi. If you haven't checked that out, there was one quote from that I was thinking of, and now I can't remember. That you all plugged, right? You can find me at zach.onepiecepodcast.com. You can find the podcast at One Piece Podcast anywhere. Just, again, search engine optimization, as Ken mentioned. OnePiecePodcast.com, One Piece Podcast on OnePiecePodcast.com on Blue Sky, One Piece Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, if you use that. Twitter, we're not active there, but we have it. and anywhere else, really. And you could find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or the rest. Pocket Casts. There's other ones. I just can't name them all. I don't remember them all. We don't have a phone number anymore. Thank you, Skype, for dying.
Maji.
So, on that note, I'm going to throw it over to...
Welcome to a David Back of Fight. Today I've got the one great challenge for you four intrepid pirates. I call it Gargantuan, Barbarian, Austrian. So real quick, we're going to do a lightning round where you will have to guess if this name is Gargantuan, that is, it belongs to a giant of Elbaf. Barbarian, it's the name of a minor character from Thundar the Barbarian, the Hanna-Barbera TV show. Or Austrian, the name of a minor Austrian car company.
Wow.
Awesome.
By the way,
awesome. Let's do this.
I need to say,
This is
so
cool.
This is kind of awesome trivia.
before
Oh
it
my
is,
God.
David always does top tier
It does.
trivia, I'll say. But I have to say, so we went to, we took a trip in Europe a few years ago now, with my son, and to keep him asleep, we had to drive like hours away for no reason. So we went to Austria randomly, and God, every name in that country is the funniest fucking thing I've seen in my life.
Nice.
They're all words that are 8,000 letters, and they're hilarious. So I just wanted to say that. David, please.
All right. Lightning round style. I think each one of you should get 3. I don't really care. We're not doing this for points. I'm just curious how you'll do. Why don't we start with Zach?
Oh no.
Magna.
Thunder the Barbarian, whatever it was.
Nope. That is an Austrian car manufacturer that assembles cars for other manufacturers like Hyundai and Mercedes-Benz.
What was it called again?
Magna. Technically,
Magna.
it's Magna Steyr. There was a merger. But
Oh.
Magna.
There's always
All right.
a merger.
Steven.
Okay.
Corb.
Corb. And what are the 3 options again?
A giant of Elbaf, a character from Thundar the Barbarian, or an Austrian car company. Corb.
I'm going to go with Thundar again.
Yes, he is a corrupt sheriff.
Ooh.
It'll be right eventually.
Jill.
Go for it.
Zevon.
Car company.
No, he's also from Thundar. That is a bearded cat man.
I should have known this.
Zevon. All right. Ken?
Yep.
Mag.
Elbaf.
Yes, that is a
Yep.
little giant boy with
Yep.
glasses.
By
Yep.
process of elimination, we hadn't had one yet. Come
I
on.
also know that I
No,
know
I
those
remember
kids'
Mag.
names.
I
Yeah.
do kind of remember.
Yeah.
Because that's
All
a
right.
weird one.
All right, Zach. Biblo.
Okay. My man, Biblo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. No, I'm sorry. I meant Elbaf is what I meant.
All right, you got one. There you go.
Hmm.
Steven.
Mhm.
Groffrey.
What was the first consonant?
Groffrey. It's a G. Groff.
G. Groff. Okay. Groffrey.
I always say this.
I'm going to guess that's an Austrian company.
Yes, they made cars from 1921 to 1931. Why an Austrian car manufacturer would stop making things in the 1930s? Who could say?
That doesn't
Yeah,
sound
it's
right.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds.
We're in the books.
Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Ilva.
Elbaf.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Ken.
hmm
Straya.
That's Thundar.
Yes, that is a gray suited
Yeah.
shark woman.
Yep,
But you know Thunder the Barbarian?
I do.
I know
also an
nothing
island.
about that.
It's an island in the South Pacific.
Thank you, Stephen.
Zach.
Yeah.
Oaf.
Can you spell it? Can you use it as a
OAF.
OAF? I'm gonna also do Thundar for that.
No, that is an Austrian car manufacturer. They make trucks like the Tornado 19.
I'm looking
They
at
were
that.
recently bought by Man. So Oaf is now Man.
Wow, he is right. There's an umlaut, though, and you did not mention the umlaut.
Oh, sorry. Oof.
Oh, that was worth it.
All right.
Denzel.
Washington.
Denzel. Please tell me Denzel is a character in Thundar the Barbarian.
No, that's an Austrian car manufacturer. They were an early competitor to Porsche.
I told you, Austrian names always
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's probably like Denzel or something like that.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Jill?
Mm.
Bent.
Thundar.
No, that's a giant of
That's
Elbaf.
Elbaf,
Damn
yeah.
it. I don't know these children or any of the others.
And
I
that's
guess.
why you don't care. Big Pie.
I don't really know any of them.
Listen,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
why.
a lot of kids to show me. All right.
It's
Ken.
okay if a few of them do.
What you got?
Felber.
Elbaf.
No, that's
No.
an Austrian car manufacturer. They make a
Ah.
3-wheeled microcar.
Darn. Okay.
Oh, that's sick.
2 out of 3.
Zach.
Bad.
Really, you could do any Austrian
Octagon.
word. Oh, that one is, I think, an Austrian car company. Because I think they have
No,
a gas-
that's a wizard from Thundar who can summon energy beasts.
Octagon?
Octagon.
What a stupid ass name for a wizard.
Yeah.
Steven.
Oh, I was thinking of the Cybertruck. That's what it looks like.
sure.
Yeah. No, I because I just Googled Octagon car and that's what came up.
You should all right, Steven. Yondo.
Yondo.
From Star Wars?
No,
These
that's
are
Guardians
all
of the
Star
Galaxy.
Wars characters.
I'm gonna say Thundar again.
Yes, he is a blue horned wizard.
Oh, okay.
What- How
Jill?
many fucking wizards are in this show?
Lots of wizards.
Clearly.
But also, I really want to point out a corrupt sheriff, like southern ass sheriff named Corb.
Corb on the cob.
Jill,
Yes.
Aegir.
Austrian
Fuck
company.
if I know.
No, that is a giant of Elbaf.
God damn it. Man, fuck these kids.
That's what I was saying.
Is that
Hey.
one of the kids?
And Ken,
Yeah. What you got?
Ken. All right. I believe you have the last one, and that is Scaldi.
It's a wizard. Shut up, wizards. All of them.
Is that Thundar?
No, that is also a giant of
It's
Elbaf.
one of the kids.
I told you it was a wizard.
He could be a wizard. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know if they're wizards. They were all wizards. That's
Yeah.
gonna do
All
it.
wizards.
That was great, David. Thank you.
David,
Thank
more
you,
of those,
David.
please.
Who won?
Yeah.
Not me.
Absolutely. Anytime. I
Did you keep
have
score?
I think Steven might have gotten
I got
got
two.
at
I
least
got the
three.
two.
most.
I
I got
got
at least
Steven
3.
I got one or two.
Yeah. Like I said,
Anyway,
not really playing for points. We're playing for the experience. So thank you all.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Just like One Piece, it's about the journey.
And the wizards.
And wizards, much like One Piece, wizards and journeys. That'll do it for the One Piece podcast. We'll see you next time for chapter 1150. My name is Zach, and we'll see you all next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Culture. History. Children.
Truth.
Machi. Anytime.
Call.
Except not anymore.
This is the age of the great. No, okay. I'm done. I'm done.
All right.
Delaney, I'm done.